Hey peeps, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, that's the wrong camera. Let's go that one. Hey peeps, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm very excited. Oh, it's very loud. Game might be a bit loud in my ear hole. So there's growling noises and all sorts of things going on in my ear hole. How you doing, Agent M? Or Agent N? You seem to have changed your name from Agent M to Agent N. How you doing? So, I haven't slept very much in the last 24 hours. I'm very, very excited. So, I'm very... Yeah, we're going to play some Prehistoric Kingdom. I'll give it a few minutes because it doesn't look like the alert's gone out in the Discord, but it's alright. Hey Frankie, how you doing? So we have all the crew. You may not have noticed this is Prehistoric Kingdom. Prehistoric Kingdom isn't working today, so I'm basically just gonna go. we're just gonna pretend this is it. Anyway, enough of that. So I have got my Dino teacup as well. My Dino coffee cup. So I've been pretty much playing this solidly since it came out yesterday. Well, it's come out on alpha, early access alpha, so I'm very lucky to have been given a key. And I have put out a couple of videos already and spent all night on it last night. It is super cool, as you're obviously already hearing the noises from the game there. So I'll just kind of jump over here. So we're going to do just kind of get ourselves in. It'd still be entertaining watching you play with a plastic dinosaur. I doubt it very much. I was boring myself already, so. Hey Emma, how you doing? So I've got the crew. So I've never introduced you to this guy before, but it seems appropriate to do so now. So this is the Remindersaurus. And here's the thing that I have in my house that basically when I can't remember something, he gets strategically left out somewhere on the floor, basically, so that I have to remember to like switch off something or do something. Hey Nadine, treat myself to a glass of red wine from South Africa. South African red wine is good. South African red wine is good. I can vouch for that. I have got my teacup. I hope you're in your nice dino dress there, Nadine. I've got my cup of coffee. That's all I can really manage. So we're going to be doing, dudes. This is like proper awesome. So as I said, it's early, so there will be some things that look janky. It doesn't look as good as it's gonna, I think. The devs have basically talked about. So yeah, I was supposed to say thank you to Blue Meridian and Creativo for the key. That was very generous of them. Yeah, and there's like a few things that, but do you know what? For an early access alpha from a small indie company, I haven't had a single crash. I have probably played now about 8 or 9 hours since last night. I've not had a single crash. And it just is so many clever little things that we're going to jump in and see. So what we're going to do is I'll show you some little things that I've got going on, some little kind of introduction to some stuff and things. I'm basically going to be having a whole load of little videos coming out. I'm planning to pretty much have a video come out every day, maybe for the next kind of 4 or 5 days, with just little features and stuff. This game looks really good for being in early alpha. It really does, I have to say. And actually what's interesting is that the things that are not as good as they could be are all things that you kind of go, that is so like fixable and easy. Like the foundations of the core mechanics they've got in the game are really good. So like I've been playing around with it, as I said, and just constantly mind blown by things that it can do. So the one we talked about earlier, Let me know if the sound's all right and stuff, guys, because I've changed around a bit. So if it's I should be all right as long as I'm audible over the T-Rex. We should be all right. But yeah. So I put out early the foliage stuff. So this was a blank map. I'll show you in a minute what a blank map looks like. And I have been just kind of messing around. It doesn't look very pretty at the moment. We'll get to the pretty stuff. Just kind of testing to see what it can do. Some of the build mechanics are like super clever. Sound is okay for me, cool. Some of them are a little bit janky. So things like this is alpha, so could hear the boy roaring. That's important. So yeah, some of these little like janky things like these textures are a bit glitchy and all that sort of thing. So I'll show you like 2 or 3 little things. As I said, I did put out the video that was kind of the first 30 minutes and stuff, but I'll show you some sort of things that I've been looking at today. So pathing. So these are the guests. These are all basically placeholder guests. So the actual physical model isn't the finished physical model. They've all basically like just kind of weird looking zombie dudes that have all got pretty much the same dodgy haircut and facial expressions and stuff. What is really interesting though, and I've literally just discovered this today, so pathing, so if you play Planet Zoo or you've seen any Planet Zoo or any of the Planet games, one of the big things about Planet Zoo is the pathing is really not very forgiving and not very flexible. Well, this is like everything in this game feels like you're drawing. It feels like you're painting much more than actually kind of I don't know. What I was thinking earlier is that a lot of games, the way the game works feels like it's kind of just, you have to kind of navigate your way around it. This feels like loads of things that are just, they're just helpful little clever additions. I'll kind of explain this a bit more in a second, but paths are all pretty much just like drawable things. And there's no issue with doing stuff like overlapping. And I've got, if I press C on turning that from straight to on and off. Obviously the texture glitching together is going to be something they'll have to fix. But yeah, look, so I just put that down, and the AI, I was calling them robots, but the guests just seem to kind of find their own way everywhere. Hey Paul, how you doing? I think, to be fair, we know very little about the pathing at present with limited options, so I hope it stays as fluid through to release. Yeah, I mean, everything that you're seeing in any of these videos or any of the streams from anybody at the moment, it's alpha, so it may well change. But one of the things that I've been looking at today is that you sort of assume that these guys have to stay on the paths, right? They don't at all. So I started messing around with this. So there's no path attached to this at all. The guests can path over things in the same way that a dinosaur can, or the same way that an animal in a habitat can. At the moment, I've got no habitats here at all. These dinos are just roaming around. Obviously, this wouldn't really work in a real game because the guests would all get eaten. But yeah, so this is a placeable object. So if I move this for a second, like you'll see, I just drowned all the people, and they're just going to like path their way. Once they've found their way through something, they'll all just kind of carry on pathing that way, and eventually the AI will just relearn that it can't go that way. So yeah, that you can put stuff down as long as there's a starting point of a path and an end point of a path, they'll make their way over it. Which is was mind blowing when I saw this working. I was like, hang on, what? I knew that the animals were going to do this because they showed us it in some of the trailers and things. They showed you animals traversing over habitat objects and things. But guests being able just to free path is pretty cool. You dropped a dino from a super high height, it lived. Well, I managed to break I managed to break one of the T-Rexes earlier. But yeah, this was kind of nuts. This is absolutely kind of nuts. So I was thinking, so can you not just have everything? You don't even need a path. As long as they've got some way of getting onto it. Is the dino just laying there chilled? How cute is this? And yeah, so they don't have any interaction. The guests don't look at them. The guests are very, very much placeholders. Hey Lindsay, how you doing? So yeah, that was one of the things I was absolutely mind blown. Oh, you'll see that this is Steve. Oh, Stephen's actually come over to hang out with us as well. This was one of the things that was pretty mind blowing. So the AI of the dinos is pretty simple as well. Hey Dennis. So they don't do anything like eat. They have no welfare in the alpha. As I said, all of those things are kind of bare bones wise. I think they've got so many things right here. So yeah, this just kind of blew my mind because I thought, well, you basically can just, as long as they have a start of a path, as long as the path connects to a buildable piece of, like, you know, something like this, then they can just go anywhere. So they won't walk on that unless I put a path on the other side of it. Because they're trying to get somewhere, basically. They're always just trying to kind of get to the path of least resistance sort of thing. So they would cross over that quite happily. Eventually it will work it out. And I think what happens is at the moment when you start the game up, they just start flooding into the park and looking around. So yeah, this is the size of the map. Pretty cool. I couldn't get this bridge to... This is obviously all a bit janky. We'll do some nice things in a minute. Hey Elephant, how you doing? But yeah, so I pretty much just started off playing around with some of the terrain. This river wasn't here. I painted this river in. We'll do all this in a minute. So I'm going to sort of park this map, and we'll go and do some stuff in a minute. So yeah, I thought I'd just kind of obviously I'm one of the very lucky few that's got keys. So if you guys have anything at any point you want to ask me how it works, or can this be done, then let me know in the chat and I'll take you through it. I would say at the moment there's, like, saturation wise, I think maybe it could come down a little bit, but yeah, the trees and the foliage stuff, that thing I put out on that video I put out earlier, if you haven't seen that, so you have you've got these paint brushes. So everything is like a paintable thing, like including things like water. If I want to say, let's just put like a little body of water in there, or a marshland or something. I can just kind of go, make the water kind of less deep here. There's no actual kind of, like, the water doesn't have any kind of underwater texture at the moment. And the animals do go in and out of it, but they don't, like, do any kind of disturbance of the water or anything yet. So yeah, I made this whole kind of little swamp thing. It does look like the sort of places that leeches would be in and out of, doesn't it? I would say if you play Planet Zoo, or you don't play Planet Zoo because you think Planet Zoo is a little bit kind of difficult to get into, I personally think what we have... Is that someone hiding in that? I think this is a lot more accessible. It feels to me like it's a lot more kind of accessible, a lot more kind of, you can do things a lot more kind of easily, basically. So yeah, this is what I was showing on that video earlier. So I can paint, need some sort of percentage. I can, like, paint random foliage if I want to. See, they're walking on that bit of wood now. Or I can do, I want a single tree, put that down to 100% and the smallest. So try that a bunch on a hill. So if I go, that I think it works. I've got tree removal selected at the moment. Why is it only letting me select one of those? Oh, it's because I'm on. It's because I'm on one. Turn that off. Yeah, it works fine. Sort of terrain manipulation wise as well, that's pretty fine and like simple. It's not quite as dramatic as I thought it was gonna be. Hey Razzle! It looks so good, doesn't it? It's got so many cool features. You wait. Makes it so easy to get realistic random forests. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, I think I did that in about 5 minutes. I think I did that in about 5 minutes. I just kind of put those bits together. Created my little groups, and then these are my kind of paintbrushes. It definitely feels like I feel like I'm channeling my inner Bob Ross. Definitely. Right, so we're going to start from a blank map. I did this as well. This was a kind of a. You can't paint the water on a hill, so the water doesn't. It's not like you're not filling it up. You're like I'm just kind of plopping it down basically. So it's not like Planet Zoo. It's not like I'm kind of filling up a basin. I think if you put so it just goes red if you try and put it on a hill like that. But yeah, there's different types. I've got like a muddy kind of marshy bit. I'll check this out as well. Well, I will focus in a minute. I'm just getting. It's all a bit too exciting. So down here, this little sneaky corner down here, it's my little Microraptors. So this is another like absolutely epic feature. So habitats and small habitats, and this is my mini aviary. And the amazing thing about this is you can click it and you can switch off the barrier. So now you can just pick it up and place that down like it's a tree. It's got a bit of a hitbox problem at the moment, so you can't get it too close to the other one, but they've been talking in one of the forums about getting rid of that hitbox. And then so this is now a habitat, and I can breed Microraptors in it. So yeah, you could create like a whole little jungle of Microraptor habitats that just look like. So if I was to blend that all in, it would just feel like they're in the woods. Super cool, super cool. Microraptors, hate them or love them? No, just hate them. Really? I think they're pretty cool. I have to say the one thing that I'm not 100% on yet is just I feel like the camera is always a little bit weird. I have to every now and again I switch that on and off and see if it makes any difference. I felt like when I first started playing it really did. Yeah, that feels like it's changed the center of my rotation. I don't know if I'm imagining that, but I feel like I'm now rotating around the center point and not off to one side. What was the other thing I was going to show you quickly? So we'll get to doing some proper stuff in a minute, but I just started doing this little kind of rocky shore thing. I think they've got some issue with the lilies at the moment. I put this on the feedback tracker. Yeah. Oh yes, very true. Exactly. They're not anywhere near as bad. What you can do with it. Hey Thrive, how you doing, buddy? It totally is, dude. I've been messing around with them today. And one of the guys, one of the Blue Meridian guys was saying in one of the forums that hopefully they're planning to get rid of the hitbox on them, or at least reduce the hitbox on them, so that you can have them all. You can, because you could just fill a whole woods with these, couldn't you? Just fill a whole forest with these. And of course, I can, like, if I get a brush, I think I have to do this at a small size, but I can just kind of paint in. I mean, obviously, I'm doing this all really roughly, but I can just paint in the sort of foliage and stuff around them, and they'll start to blend in. So yeah, I think they're super cool. Hey Weston, how you doing, buddy? It does look cool. I would say as I said, I think all the things that I'm way more impressed than I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be a little bit like everybody needs to chill. Cheers, Thrive. I mean, it's all, most of what I've just been doing is buggering about and seeing what I can do, really. I mean, this whole mechanic is just like the number of possibilities. As soon as I discovered this, I was like, hang on, so the guests don't even need paths then? All of the guests could be just walking around wherever you want. Because you could create, so imagine I just created a huge, great big concrete. Yeah, imagine I just filled this whole area with concrete. They would go everywhere. They wouldn't, it's not like, you just need a path to start them off and to move them on. Unfortunately, they don't climb this yet, but they do cross this. I think the only reason they don't climb that is just a T-Rex chilling on the bridge there. They do kind of go up there to do it, but they change their minds, and I think it's probably... Hey, Mrs. T, how you doing? I think it's probably just the pathing AI that it's like... It doesn't understand it needs to come back on itself. Because that looks like it's going up and then it just comes back down again. You were playing Garden Flipper yesterday. Today and yesterday. Epic. Right, so I'm going to show you... We're going to do some creative stuff. That's all the kind of introduction. We're going to start a new one off from blank. I've got a bunch of ideas. There's only one biome at the moment. Well, there's only one map. Technically, the biome can be whatever you want it to be, really. So I'm not going to read the tutorial. And you can get a gist for the size of the map here. So there's the border of the map all the way out there. And then obviously this is the little entrance tunnel. So I think what we might do is we might just do a little bit of kind of changing this terrain and stuff. Let's make this massive. I just want to kind of make it a bit more of like a basin. Even this, the intent, I mean, I talked about this in my like 15 features that's going to be amazing in whatever I called that, whatever clickbaity title I gave that. But the fact that this is like seems way more powerful as a tool for sculpting your terrain. Like, look how easy that is. Look at how big the area is that I'm affecting and how quick it does it. If you compare that to... I mean, I guess we need to try and be a little bit careful not to rag on Planet Zoo too much, because it's got, you know, lots of things that are absolutely amazing about Planet Zoo. But it does look... It just feels like... I don't know what you guys feel, but it does feel to me a little bit like these guys have been kind of looking to see what the community's been saying about Planet Zoo, because it feels like everything they've done in this is just, I don't know, it feels a little bit of a coincidence that it's that much better in so many different ways, but we shall see. Right, so I'm going to flatten this all off. I want to play around with like a lake side idea. Where's my entrance? It does get a bit... I do get a bit lost sometimes. The entrance over here somewhere. Oh, it's there. So I think we're going to do like a big calm water lake. Oh, I can't do that. Interesting. Okay, so it does need to be flat terrain that you place those on. What have you? How have you been there? What was your reaction to it, Mrs. T? I saw you were streaming it last night. Hope you had a good stream. I think everybody's... so many people from the Planet Zoo community playing this game and really enthusiastic about it. So yeah, we'll just sort of sculpt ourselves out a little area. I don't know. I think it's even stuff like the sounds and things. They've got some really like satisfying. When we get to building, you'll hear the sound of the building. It's really satisfying little pops and snap sounds that are just super nice. How deep can you go? I'll show you how high you can go. Back here. It's not super big. Oh, it seems like it's deeper though. Oh wow, you can go deep. Oh my god! Oh no, Dennis, what have you made me do? Oh, maybe it's not actually going. It's not actually that deep. It's not actually that bad. So yeah, it's. I mean, but don't forget we're really zoomed out here. So like down at kind of, yeah, that's the kind of ground level here. It's pretty massive. And we'll leave that. We'll leave that little eyesore over there again. I feel like I've gone back into that camera again. T is it? I'm trying to get my head around all the controls. Anything new is always a bit of a challenge, eh? So we'll do a little bit. I haven't worked out really what the difference is between smooth and a road yet. It doesn't really seem like it does much difference. So we'll just do a little bit of a kind of doodler. I think I can move this as well. I can. Sweet. So we'll just move that down there. So let's just do like a little lakeside thing, I think. Camera's jank and it's so grouping for and so is the grouping for buildings. The only thing that I think is wrong with the camera on the building side is that right mouse button. So I'll show you what I mean basically. It doesn't. I'm using a tree for. In fact, we'll use a building piece. So if I want to move my camera view, I have to click the right mouse button, but the right mouse button deselects the object you've got. So when you're like trying to stick things together, there's that noise. There's those two noises. Hear that little deeply satisfying. When you're trying to stick two things together, you sometimes want to be able to turn the camera to make sure you've lined it up properly, and you can't do that with the game because it deselects it. But they are so simple little things, considering how early on in the process for this game we are. I'll show you some little. A bunch of you probably already seen this stuff, but like this is like different level kind of game breaking stuff. But so I can rotate this object. This object behaves exactly like a grid piece, but I can deselect it from being a grid piece and then use it like a non-grid piece. And that means that I can press the V button, move it however I want to move it. I can also scale it however I want to scale it. As simple as that. And I can, what else can I do? I can rotate it, etc. The rotation I find a little bit janky, but most of this is pretty simple. And then I can then duplicate that object and move it. Most of the things are just kind of getting your head around the fact that it's different, I think. But there are a few things. Don't split. Yeah, they're just features that are missing, but they're clearly coming because it's giving you the options. It just shows you can't do it. this took me a while to get my head round, but if I have this I think I said this on the video earlier, but if I have this button, this little checkbox here ticked, say that I've distorted that object, so I squished it down a little bit. If I now choose another piece, it has applied that same distortion to that piece. So if I just show you that quickly, so they see the width of that one. If I unselect that, pick another one, that's exactly the same. Oh, it's not done it on that one. It definitely did it earlier. I don't know. We're making it up as we go along. Split from group doesn't work, but it will work. It's clearly there. It does that little. If you get that noise in the game, I don't know if you can even hear that. It's very quiet, but it means it's a feature that's going to come, I would assume. That's been my biggest problem yet. It's so irritating. I've got to change that right click. Yeah, it seems a bit counterintuitive. I for a while I was like, hang on, is that not just like, that seems like I'm missing a button or something. It seems like I couldn't have got that. That system would have been fantastic in Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. There are loads of things. I'll do something really, really simple. Let's just do a little. Let's just get rid of that a second. Right, like so many things that you just kind of think, why has no one thought of this before? Right, so let's just do that a second, and let's say actually I want to turn that into glass. I don't have to like move the thing or take it away. I want to actually, I don't want that to be wood anymore. I want to switch it to that. It's just like super clever, because what it means is, let's say I've built that, I can just duplicate it, use that same bit again, and turn it into something entirely different. Like obviously everything we're seeing at the moment is on, like everything I'm doing is really, really basic principles, but it makes you, well, for someone like me, it makes my brain go, okay, we can definitely, like, there's all these things we can do. Let's do all these things. So what we're going to do is, I think we're just going to create like a little lakeside bit. So I'm going to put a big lake in, and then we'll just do some gubbins and see what we can come up with. I feel like this probably could use a little bit of softening. Like this brush is a little bit hard. You get quite hard edges from it. It would be nice to see them kind of just soften that off a bit. But you can kind of just make those things work quite easily, because everything else is so simple. So we'll get one of these going. And what I wanted to try was to have it all like a kind of. Can I put this? Oh, I can't actually put it. I can kind of put it hanging over. I was thinking I might build like a little kind of deck around the edge of this. That's just a kind of starting area. It so perfectly lends itself for aquatic animals, this as well. I mean, the animals, the dinos do kind of wade. I don't know if they kind of specifically, intentionally will wade through deep water. Hey, Jay Rassick, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. So it'll be pretty chill, guys. We'll just kind of find our way through. We'll find our way through. We'll do some stuff and things. We'll see where we get to. Yeah, there's like limited number of pieces at the moment, as you'd expect. But what's interesting is being able to reshape things does make a big difference in terms of kind of your flexibility of pieces, if you like, because you can repurpose all of these sorts of things. So what looks like a big thick column doesn't have to be a big thick column at all, because I can just make it nice and thin. Because I think what you end up doing, I feel like what you end up doing in this is almost building your own build pieces all the time. And having them kind of... I can see myself having loads and loads and loads of blueprints in this game. Because if I wanted... I don't know, maybe you wouldn't bother, but I guess if you wanted a smaller pole, would you reshape it, or would you just every time, or would you just have them staved? I don't know. Maybe you're not. Maybe you just have them, you make them custom every time. And one of the other things I think they would benefit from changing as well. So when I do that scaling, so if I press my V key, when I do that scaling, there's no way to have it maintain its proportion. I think by default you would always want to maintain the aspect ratio or the shape of that object. What you can do is just reshape it on its axes. So I can show you that again. I just did the infamous right click. So I can... Obviously stuff like that makes sense, and there's no real issue with doing that. You are stretching the texture though. You can see that it looks stretched, and there's a limit to it, so it won't go forever. That's it. I can't do it any more than that. But yeah, I feel like there should be either a hotkey or a toggle, or maybe an option on this wheel that just goes or even an option down here that says maintain aspect ratio or maintain proportions. Like proportional scaling would feel to me like the more common thing you would want to do than none. So let's do like a little deck thing, I guess. I've not used this piece before. So you will have to bear with me because obviously it's new for me. These are quite good though. I think sort of having all of these little moments where everybody's in the same boat is quite nice, because you kind of everybody, yeah. Because what you can end up with is things looking like kind of unobtainably complicated, but I feel like personally this is easier to build cool looking stuff than Planet Zoo is. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to create a deck, and we're going to do it out of this piece and this piece. Oh, it's going to take me a while. This is going to be a little bit slow because obviously I'm still trying to work my way through all the controls and everything. So this is going to look weird for a minute because I'm doing it all on tilt. I'm doing it all standing up for now. So let's go like that. The other thing that's the real challenge, I would say, is that most of my misclicks and struggles are really muscle memory from Planet Zoo. Like I'm pressing all the buttons that I'm constantly pressing Control X and Control D. Some of them work and some of them are the same, and some of them are not the same. Some of them are completely different. So yeah, a big part of it is just getting your head around the new thing. So let's do that. I'll make that nice and small. And let's do one there. That's not what I wanted. I want that. So those things. So that's a different keybind. I'm starting to get my head around it. But yeah, Control X is now Control V. That's one of the biggest ones. So let's do that, and then we'll do. Let's take that. I can't swap this with another piece. That's one of the other pieces. That's one of the things that's kind of a bit difficult. So whereas in Planet Zoo at the moment, that's off center, you can select a piece, copy it and switch it to another piece. You can't do that in this at the moment, which is kind of tricky because it means you always end up with stuff slightly not in alignment like I've got here. So it's a bit more of an organic, I think it's probably going to be a bit more of an organic process for a while until we've got our heads until we've got our heads around it. So let's do that. That feels like it's on a wonk now. It's on a wonky. This will make sense in a minute. I'm basically just building I'm trying to build myself a little piece that I can then reuse all around this dock to create this dock. And I'm hoping that the guests will walk on it. Why is that off center? Oh, there we go. So let's go this way. No, not towards. See, this is one of those perfect examples where I need to move the camera. I can't move it because if I right click I deselect the item. What have I done to that? Is that weird? Is that weird? That's better. So let's just do that. And then we'll do... Is that better? I think that's better. No. Red. I'm still struggling a little bit with the rotation tool. I don't know why I'm finding that so tricky, but I definitely am. Okay, and then let's squish that down. I can't swish it down. Is that as long as that's... Let's just place it a second. I guess I don't need to play. I don't need to squish it. So let's get some rope, maybe. In fact, let's make this. Let's rotate this round because it's going to be easier now. Can I do that? There we go. So at the moment, this merge groups button doesn't work. But it doesn't really massively matter because effectively I can move it all as one anyway. So if I now give that a spin, hopefully that will rotate. No, it didn't actually group it all together. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. That's better. I've got it all now. So, Control V. Yes. There's like some sort of multi-select thing, which I'm never really entirely sure how I get to it, but I press lots of buttons and I get to it. Back to that. There's no shortcut to go between these different options here as well. There's no shortcut to go between rotate and scale, which is a little tricky. And there's also no shortcut to remove the angle snap, so I keep pressing the space bar and that doesn't do anything. Move that. No, move that. Okay, right, so let's just do that. Okay, and then we've got that now, and we can go like this. In fact, let's get a bit of rope on there first. So let's actually do a straight one. It might be that I'm missing something, but so if I switch the grid on, does that help me align it to that? It doesn't. If I go there, so I can't align that. I want to align it perfectly with that. I can't. have to eyeball it. That's alright, we'll eyeball it. So V, turn that to 40 to 90. Okay, and then scale that. So this is where it will come. It's going to come in really handy. It's just for those little bits where, like, if you massively distort something, you're always going to be able to see it. But just being able to kind of just stretch that extra little bit, like there. I did distort it there, but not enough for it to be a problem. I keep doing that. I don't want that. I've got no idea of my scaling here, obviously, because I haven't got guests or anything in, so I don't really mind. I'm just gonna make things. Just gonna make some things. Undo. Come out of that. Okay, is that everything there? And V. Still not quite there, are we? Okay, I think we'll just do that. Let's just do that for now. So I'll just do a little bit of this. I'm not going to do all of this. I'm just going to do a little bit just to get something. It's a little bit of a platform. I've seemed to have lost my controls here. There we go. Turn that off. I keep looking down, don't I? I keep looking down at my keyboard. Sound of someone who doesn't know what they're doing. Is that it? That doesn't seem like it. Let's find out. So what it does, I think, is persist whatever the last thing that you had selected was. So if you want to move something, you have to make sure it's set on move and not on scale. And it seems to be something that I have to kind of keep remembering. So I don't remember setting it to scale there. Why has it set itself to scale? Maybe I clicked on it. We can do that. And then select this and just scale that gap, right? To fill that in. Just do that. So it's pretty underwhelming so far, but you can see the kind of the basics of it at work. I haven't done too much building, so you're getting a pretty rough start. V, that one. See, that'll be a lot simpler when there's custom keybinds and stuff, or when there's all the keybinds in. Then knowing that you can just hit one key and be using the scale versus using the move. Thank you very much, Riot. Cheers, buddy. I'm finding my way into it, definitely. Getting more and more confident as the time goes. I feel like it would probably be easier for someone who's never played Planet Zoo. Because you know that, it's the thing where you've got to fight your own muscle memory. For someone like me who's built so much, spent so much time in Planet Zoo building fiddly things, I know I'm not by any means someone who's, there's loads of other people that have done that, but I'm a bit old. And remembering new things is a little bit of a challenge. Alright, so we'll do that. We'll give that a little bit of a give that a little bit of something going this way as well. So can I just like click these, grid these, duplicate them? No, they came off of the grid. Why did they come off of the grid? Oh, they were never grid pieces. You are leveling gap in your railing. Yeah, it looks. Oh, I'm not worrying too much about the fact there's a bit of a gap. I can just fill that in easy enough anyway. I'm going to put some plants and things in there, I think. Some planters. No, not yet. So key bindings are not in. I'll show you the menu. So it's obviously going to be there, but it's disabled. Does that helpful little clickety click? I don't know what this is either. It's a little star. Hey Agent M, how you doing? Are you good, buddy? So yeah, you've got to remember a little bit. So that isn't going to let me use that. Hang on, why is it not letting me use that as a grid piece then? It is a grid piece. Enable construction grid. It's enabled. So I should be able to double click that, no? Is that because it's not a building piece? It's a... Oh right, I didn't use a building piece for that. I used what is basically a prop. Okay, that might be a problem. Might be a problem for guests getting onto it. I don't think it's going to be though. I feel like it's pretty forgiving. That's all right though, because we can just go... we can just do this, and in fact I can grab all of them and do that, I think. So those are separate modular groups at the moment, so if I come out I can then grab multiple modular groups. This seems so forgiving as well. Some of these things that I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can't do that in Planet Zoo. I'm pretty sure you can't do that. Okay, so it's got some weird alignment issues. The right mouse button is definitely the biggest problem at the moment. Because you're probably not noticing it that much, but I'm clicking off of things really frequently when I'm meaning to move the camera. So if I control V on this again, it's not going to be right, is it? It's not going to be right, I think, because that last piece has got a slight distortion in it. So we'll just do that, and then this, and then pull. No, it's not right. That's some weird alignment thing going on there. That's alright, so we'll go like this. This one will move properly. This would have been a lot easier if I'd used grid pieces, but never mind. You know me, I never do anything easy. I mean, to be fair, I could just grab and stretch that. See what that looks like. That would be another good setting as well. I don't know how they will do it, but something that controls the position by which it scales. So does it scale from the center? So I wanted that to scale from that right end, and it didn't. It scaled from the center point there. Let's do this. Right, and then I can move that. I could have just done that with everything, I suppose. Anyway, we'll just do a bit of... I'm not going to worry too much about getting this perfect, he says. Is that normal for me? That doesn't seem normal, does it? Seems a bit odd for me to say that. The faff levels... Thank you, Dennis. Cheers, buddy. So usually, my Planet Zoo brain would be entirely focused on this zoo fighting and having to remove it, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I just want to get kind of a bit of a thing. I'm interested to see actually whether I can place this building on top of those. I don't think I'm going to be able to. So let's move these. I'm not going to worry too much about getting this perfectly matched up at either end because I'm going to hide it away as well. So let's scale that up to the maximum, move that over, and then stretch it back that way. So I've chosen a piece that probably doesn't lend itself overly well to this, to be fair, because the more you scale this piece on the width, the more open the beams get. So that's going to be definitely something that everyone's going to have to get their heads around, is like how scaling the piece is going to affect the look of that piece, if you see what I mean. Because if this was just a flat object, it wouldn't really matter. Let's move that one over. Definitely got some messy bits here, but never mind. Those last two seem to have a big gap in between them. So let's grab that. Yeah, I think I was thinking there was going to be a hell of a lot less than this, but as I said, foundationally there just seems like there's so much that they've thought of that just little, I don't know, just little kind of quality of life things. So that's not amazing, but it's all right. We can make it work. So let's get. Still trying to work out everything is. Let's get some like building accessories, structural props. There's something that's like, where's all the bins and things? There's bins somewhere. Building accessories. Where's the bins? I'm sure I've seen bins somewhere. Guest facilities? Oh, there it is. Right, so I was using these the other day, or yesterday. I say the other day, it feels like it's many days. It's only one day. As planters, because they look like a bin at that proportion, but because I can squish it down, I can just make it into a planter if I want. And I can do the same with the mulch. So let's go back into there. Find the mulch, which is in the gardening section. That one. That's obviously massive at the moment, but it won't be in a minute because we can just squish it down. Stick it in there. That one. Like so. And then we'll get a nice little... That's probably a bit massive for that pot, but never mind. Maybe we'll just get one of those in there. Actually moving. I didn't notice anything moving before. Foliage wise, these things don't move, do they? No, that's weird. Okay, so some things are animated. Some of the foliage and stuff that is blowing in the wind. That one. So I could do this. I could basically just kind of do this everywhere if I wanted. Duplicate that piece. That's my shift key to lift it up like that. And then I go back and grab this one and stretch it a bit more. So yeah, I mean, it can just kind of end up with a bunch of those if I want. Can I just grab the bottom 2 pieces? Let's grab that. I think I've still got the mulch there. Move that away. There mustn't have been a breeze. No, maybe it wasn't. Maybe there wasn't. I mean, there's going to be. I don't know what weather. I mean, assuming there's going to be like snow and stuff. I don't remember seeing snow on any of the screenshots. Interesting. That didn't actually move, did it? But yeah, I'm imagining there'll be all that good stuff. They seem like they've I feel like they've been a little cautious, which is not a bad thing. So this is going to stay up. This build is going to stay up, apparently. I mean, they're going to keep... They talked a little bit about patching this. Oh, crap. Why did that just happen? Because I didn't confirm the... I didn't confirm the rescale. The resize. So I have to remember to do that. Clicking off of it in Planet Zoo confirms it, and it doesn't in this. So that's another one of those things to learn. But yeah, so it's going to basically... This is, at the moment... Thought I just spilled my coffee. This is on a... This is on its own... I think this is on its own entry. Yeah, this is like a beta version, testing version on Steam. So when they eventually release beta, which is supposed to be in another quarter, they'll keep this version. I think alpha will stay. From what I gathered them saying before, alpha will stay, and it will just have beta added to it, and then eventually I think just the same on Go Live. Although why you'd ever want to go back to beta if you've got alpha, I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I was talking earlier. I was talking on the video that I put out earlier that like I feel like you just kind of end. It feels a lot less. It feels a lot less like I'm kind of building one-off items in this game. I don't. It's really difficult to explain that, but I feel like everything I'm doing is like another asset because it's not one thing. So if you imagine if I wanted to swap that out, I'd have to delete it. In Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster, I'd have to delete that object. I want to swap that tree, I have to delete that object for something else. I don't really want to delete it, I just want to change it enough for it to look different. And I can do that just by giving it a little bit of a scale and a little bit of a rotate, for example. I'm not doing a very good job of keeping them straight, but we're kind of getting there. So we'll do a little bit of rock work in a second, because the rock work is super fun. Super fun. Which group am I in here? There we go. Okay, so now we've got 2 of those. They're probably alright. Just kind of spot those around here and there. And obviously once you can actually properly kind of group these things and have them saved, because I'm having to reselect everything when I do this because there's no concept of merging groups, so it's a little tricky to keep track of the... So that's saying multiple groups there, and I can't merge them, so I'm having to do some of this re-clicking everything. I think that will just kind of come with... It looks like I'm missing a bit of mulch on that one as well. Never mind. Why am I not getting the... Am I not getting that? Is it because I keep deselecting it? That's better. Okay, so we'll just do that pretty unspectacular at the moment. So all the rocks. So rocks is a big deal. Rocks is a big deal. So when you first look at this, you're like, there's not very many rocks. Hey, Axel. But you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. I don't think this is any less than we've got. I might be wrong. I don't think this is any less than we've got right now in Planet Zoo. So I get the option. Obviously, there's all these different ones here. But you'll notice when I click them, I got a palette option. So rather than giving us another entry in the menu, these guys just decided to allow us to choose a texture, and even after I've placed it down, I don't have to move it and just change the texture. And then once I've got a texture set, I'm just, I can just keep using that piece if I want to. And all the same things apply to these that we just had with the rescaling of the other objects. And this is where these become really, really handy, because rather than just getting another rock, you can just change the one you've got. It doesn't, to a point, it doesn't really matter whether you distort them. So if I just grab that one a second, and we'll just do like that. In fact, that one looks like it's actually proportionally scaling, doesn't it? Interesting. How come that one's proportionally scaling and the other things weren't? Interesting. So if I pull that one, it proportionally scales. Oh, okay. I've just learned a new thing. So if I pull this one, it's not going to proportionally scale because I'm playing on the whatever that is, the y-axis, and that one's squishing it. But why is this one proportionally scaling and not just scaling it on that axis? Yeah, it'll be on the channel. Right, it'll be up on the channel. So yeah, I mean that it just kind of that by itself. It seems, I mean, it's kind of a bit difficult to explain, but it seems like a pretty simple thing, but it's really like, so if I want to go and do a whole set of those things, so I just scaled that. This is what I was talking about with that keep object scale. I just scaled that. In fact, let's do this again. So there's a base rock. I haven't got that option set. I haven't scaled it. If I place that down, we'll just put that down for a second, just so we've got a reference. And if I now scale this one, let's use that. See, that doesn't scale it proportionally. Maybe there's just some of them are not working properly. That one now seems to scale it proportionally. So if we just do that little stretch on that, and we'll keep that object scale, and we'll save it. So we've saved that. If we now get a different rock, so come out of that, get a different rock, the game has applied the scaling that I did to that to this next one. Let me just take that off again. I can show you what I mean. It doesn't look like it's different. I feel it must be. It was. Am I talking crap? It was definitely different. Hold on. Let's do this again. So maybe I'm just pressing the thing at the wrong time. So let's make it extreme. So I'm really squishing it. Confirm. Yeah, it is doing it. Maybe I just wasn't scaling that enough for it to be noticeable. It might seem a little bit odd that it should auto-upload. Yeah, it will auto-upload itself. It might seem a little odd that, and initially when I saw that I was like, well, initially before I realised that little checkbox was there, I was like, why is this happening? Why is everything always distorted? But it's actually a really smart idea. It means that I don't have to scale everything over and over again, and actually just gives me the option to just have a set of new rocks scaled to that new size. So let's just do a bit of, we'll just do a bit of rock work. I'll turn that off. Anyone who has played Planet Zoo will know that the rock work is really, really a big deal. These actually mesh together really nicely as well. That's a super small one. And then you've got really big, massive ones. In fact, can we use one of the surfaces of that, maybe? Right, let's squish that down to a flat. And use it like that. Now I'm pretty sure, I haven't tested this yet, but I'm pretty sure that the guests will be able to traverse rocks as well. I don't know how exactly that works, but it's definitely more versatile, isn't it? And what actually looks like a small number of pieces isn't, because if you think about it in terms of like Planet Zoo, that number of rocks is, I'm pretty sure there's more rocks in this already. Can I clip this in? I can. Amazing. I can clip this into that. So we might run a little, we'll run a little rock plinth around this edge. We'll need to do some terrain painting as well. I'm going to use mostly, I think I'm going to use mostly that colour. I mean, most of the time you get away with by just sinking them in anyway, like hiding them away, but this gives you so much more flexibility. Let's use that one again. And we'll squish that up, I think. We'll go make it a bit fatter that way. And more like that. What's really interesting, I think, is it's definitely a mindset. It's a mindset thing. It feels like this is a different mindset. That these guys have pretty much gone, I guess, can traverse modular pieces, traverse on modular pieces. Yes, anything that's modular they can traverse on. Yeah, I feel like you don't even need paths. I feel like you don't need paths in this game at all. I feel like you need a path right at the start to get the guests in there, and after that you could have them going wherever you want them to, just by having modular floors. I lost my brain for a second. I don't think the game will think a rock is any different to a bit of wood, technically. So if they can scale a bit of wood, which I've already proved with the bridges and stuff, then they can scale one of these bad boys, I would say. Oh, that's not right. So Control D is an option. Just get this kind of border out. I should be keeping that setting switched, I think. So the actual, interestingly, these pieces are quite a bit more faux looking, aren't they? I wouldn't say they're particularly, I don't know, do we think they look realistic, these rocks? They're not too bad, are they? They're pretty good. That one's really small. Keep using that really small one. So, in fact, what we'll do, rather than keep doing that, is let's go, we'll make ourselves a little group now, so that we don't have to keep placing these down. This is a bit fiddly. There we go. Let's do that. Let's make that dark. Oh, that's not darker at all. That's lighter. Make that one lighter. Okay, so if I grab those, I can reuse those if I want to. I might make some little kind of pools, I think. Some little shallows and stuff. It's so I don't know what it is, but it feels really tactile. I think that's what it feels like. Everything is just pretty effortless and easy. We'll keep that one there for a minute and we'll make another one. So we'll make another little group out of these. Like that. I think it's sort of even the fact that it defaults to this option. So I've got, if I clicked single placement there, it would, when I click, it would unclick me. I'd have nothing, but having that as an option that I can tick off means that every time, instead of my cursor, it's replacing that with my selected rocks. If that makes any sense. I'm sure I explained that so much. Scaling them look realistic. Yeah, I mean you can make them look unrealistic by scaling them. Definitely. That was sort of the point I was making with the choices thing. Is that they're giving the control to the user in this game. That they're like, if you want to make it look distorted, that's up to you. If you want to distort it, that's your choice as the player. Have at it. Like, that's quite refreshing, I think. And actually what that means is it just gives you an extra bit of freedom. And that's getting a bit massive now. To do whatever you want to do. Like, I'm not even really. I'm just kind of shoving them in. I'm not really even paying that much attention to what I'm doing here. I'm not painstakingly placing these. I'm just kind of letting them do their own thing. So love watching the rock work being done. Proper chills me out. I know. I don't know what it is about that, but it really is, isn't it? Right, so let's get that nice flat bit, and we'll make some little. In fact, what's the underside of this look like? Oh, I'm struggling with. I'm struggling with this a little bit. Oh, that's the only thing I'm struggling with. I'm sort of getting my head round the right mouse button thing, but yeah, getting that rotation, it always feels a bit fiddly. So let's actually make this super shallow, I think. What am I pressing here? That's what. Deselect it, duplicate it. Let's just get some, I think maybe some like some mangroves and stuff like that in here. Oh, I need to unselect that. Upside down. That's not what I want. Keep rotation. I think that's why. Yeah. So let's Just do a bit of this and a bit of that. I mean, it's going to take some building up for sure, but I think if we just kind of build up this little bay area, might be interesting. Maybe let's do something to kind of close this back off as well. So we're back on the grid, back in the grid pieces. No, there are some prefabs, yeah. So there's not loads at this stage, but there are. So there's a tab there that's not unlocked. There's attractions. There's park infrastructure, which is that big building at the moment, or the power plants. So let's actually stick that in as well, because we don't have any power at the moment. And then where's the guest facilities? There's these. So there's a restroom, like a big restroom that will. Can I split from group? I can't remember if I can. No, I can't. Let's just delete those then. Can I raise these up? So I can't put these. Have to be placed on the ground level. That's all right, dude. No worries. But yeah, these look like these have to be placed on the ground. So yeah, there's a big restroom. Let's put some of these in, I think. That one. There's a clothing store, which is pretty cool. Again, maybe we just kind of have this. Let's put that over here somewhere. Clothing store. So this has definitely got a front and a back, so we'll just put that kind of there. Information kiosk. Let's put that in the middle. You know what's really cool about this as well is that I'm not going to hook a path up, but I'm just going to place a path down a second. These are my path options, by the way. We'll use this one. Do we want to use this one or this one? Let's use that one. And we'll go with a big bit of path. So check this out, right? So if I want to make a circle, for example, we'll just do a little central circle here. Let's put that on. And we'll press C to put my curves on. And then I'll drag this round to a nice circle. Right, whereas in Planet Zoo, this would not be an option. But it's really forgiving, so I just can click over the top of it, paint over the top of it. Not only that, but my buildings can just kind of sit wherever you want to sit them. So if I want to just put that right in the middle there, no problem. And the guests won't walk through it. They'll interact with it. They'll consider that to be on the path. They won't just breeze through. That's now a thing they can use. Again, that's like way more flexible. Hey Lisa, how you doing? Yeah, pretty good. We're just starting off. We're just starting off doing a thing, making a thing. Hey OJ. But yeah, I think that's like really cool. The fact that, again, everything's alpha, so who knows if this changes. But I don't really see though why they would change that, because they've obviously, even though the models of the AI, I've not got the guests in at the moment, but the guests will come out of there. We saw the guests in the previous little build. I don't see why they would take away something that's already a feature. It appears to be a feature in my eyes anyway. Right, and then there's this last one, T-Rex Cafe, which is really nice. You will be able to, apparently you will be able to go in these as well. That pattern path is playing with my eyes. Do you see a massive unicorn? Yeah, it is a bit weird, isn't it? It is a bit weird. Looks like it has ridges. Yeah, it is a bit magic-eye, isn't it? I'm not sure if I can actually easily change the textures of the paths. Yeah, I think maybe I can. So there's an interesting little kind of it's snapping inside that. Yeah, and they've got some, as I said, they've got some texture issues with the paths, but like I think that's super promising. Actually, if you look at these, some of these buildings, I just clicked into photo mode there. Oh, hold on, what have I just pressed on something I shouldn't have done? Just hit a key I shouldn't have done, I think. And in this mode I can like change my field of view and stuff, and I can change the time of day. This is really handy for peeps like me making thumbnails. So like you just get like an amazing perspective of things. I mean, I've made it all a bit bright now, but so yeah, we'll carry on goobering about. But yeah, I mean, that looks pretty. I think they're really good details on these. Obviously, there's not loads of them yet, and they have said, I think we've seen footage of guests inside this. Pretty sure we saw a screenshot. There's obviously nothing inside there at the moment. You can go in if you switch into that camera mode. You can stick your head in. There's nothing inside at the moment. Pretty sure we've seen pictures of guests inside that and a whole kind of full interior. So we can only assume there's going to be more prefab pieces, more prefab buildings. They've talked about that a lot. I think one of their objectives was really to make it much more, as flexible as they possibly could, as open-ended as they possibly could. There's that right-click thing. It does my nut in, but right. So we'll do a little. Right, so I'm on the grid with this, so I should be able to click the grid on. I'm on the grid. Click the grid. Duplicate. No, not duplicate. That's a 4x4. Enable grid. Is it X then? No. Duplicate on the grid. Should just duplicate on the grid, shouldn't it? Why is it not staying on the grid there? Hold on, what am I doing? I'm doing something stupid, I'm sure. They are similar. They're similar, yeah. It's sort of, I've sort of said earlier, Lisa, it's a bit like, I'm not sure whether it's a positive or a negative to have played Planet Zoo, because it's similar enough, not quite the same. So, yeah, if it was totally different, you wouldn't have your muscle memory in the same place. But I'm basically doing exactly the same thing. So, so for example, Control V in this game is the equivalent of Control X in Planet Zoo. We can assume that there is going to be keybinds, assignable keybinds. So if you wanted to, you could keep the controls all the same. There's not really an enormous amount of different things happening apart from the scale. Why is this not staying on the grid then? I don't understand. Enable construction grid. And when I duplicate it, it takes the construction grid away. Maybe I'm not supposed to be Control Ving it. Maybe I'm supposed to be doing something else. Enable grid. So I don't have the grid there. It's confusing me, but I have it here. Okay, I don't understand what's going on there, but never mind. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll grab that whole set. And we'll take that off of the grid. See, just that. It's just so epic. Can't explain how epic that is. The exact same thing. And you know what's the really interesting thing is that, and this is a total mindset change, is that you don't have to think about what material you're building in. You just build and then you decide the material after. So because I can switch the material at any point by clicking that button, I'm just building and then deciding what I want to do with it after. Whereas in Planet, you'd be taking that thing out and do it again, basically. So let's have a little set of steps or something coming up here, and we'll have this as like a little planter, a raised planter. So yeah, it's definitely similarly. So it's similar in a lot of ways, but in some ways I'm not sure if that's better. I don't understand what I'm doing here. Is it just because I'm... So that should just be staying on the grid. I don't understand. That's not what I want. So I did take that off of the grid. Didn't Frontier also do a Jurassic Park game too? And they've taken a lot of the good things from the Frontier games and reworked all that was wrong, possibly. Yeah, they did. A lot of people have said this is what Jurassic World Evolution should have been. I think Jurassic World Evolution was probably a good game, wasn't for me. Not enough of the creativity really for me. It was more like it was a management game, which is like, if you're into management games, it was probably a good one. But pretty much everything was prefab. It's nice to have a mix of Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Why is it going down there? I don't really understand why I've lost the grid here. Enable grid. And then when I duplicate it, it loses the grid. I don't understand. I don't understand. Alright, so I just want to move this back over there. Okay, that's fine. Has that gone off to that? Looks like it's gone off to the side. Here's again one of those cases where I really want to be able to rotate the camera. I can't, because it will deselect the item. I put it down, I can reselect the item. I can move the camera. I hope EA take note of the building sim side of this game and implement it in Sims 5. I won't hold my breath. Yeah, I cannot imagine. I mean, I think this has got really big potential. I personally would say, I said at the beginning of the stream, I think this is way better than I think most people thought it was going to be already. And they've done a pretty good job of showing stuff and then kind of not showing too much. Like there has still definitely been kind of surprises. And I do think all the things that it's got, as I sort of said earlier, all the things that I think it needs a bit of polishing on are all fairly simple things. Hey Christian. Like I thought this would be less less about building, or less. I thought it would be less kind of. I thought it would be much more basic than this, and that we'd just all be kind of expecting that for alpha. But if this is where we are, considering the fact that this is supposed to not be live in early access, so there's going to be alpha, beta, early access release, it will still be in early access even when it comes to Steam and everybody's got it. So yeah, like we've got a long way to go in this game in terms of its feature to sort of feature complete. I think they've said, I think there was something they said was pretty close to feature complete. I think they feel like feature complete on the on some of the like terrain stuff. Feature complete meaning they're not going to add anything more to it, but it may well just get some refinement and some tweaks and stuff. It was good, but lacking building creativity, where PZ and PK are just way more tuned to custom building and habitat creations. I mean, it's not necessarily. In some ways, you could argue that made sense for Frontier. Big franchise project. Maybe it was. I don't really know because I wasn't really ever particularly close to the game. Whether did it have good sales and stuff? My feeling was from the little bit that I played, and again, this is not to say it was a bad game at all, just not the sort of game that I was thinking it was going to be, was that it felt a little bit like they just got focused on the fact that they had like the voices and stuff. Like it felt like it was more, it was, some games lack gameplay, but they look amazing. Like it's pretty unusual that a game will have enough of a kind of like wow factor that you kind of just don't really worry too much about the lack of gameplay. It felt a little bit like, these are interesting, aren't they? Look at this kind of dynamic texture. See how that texture's moving with it's actually reskinning that. That's weird. That's a bit weird. And so my feeling was it just felt like it just felt like you were kind of just a bit passive in it. I don't know. But as I said, it sort of makes sense. Maybe it makes sense for them, to have a mix of games. I guess if you love Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster, your assumption is that like all Frontier output should be basically the same, and I think that's probably not really right. I'm gonna have to say it again, the new Hasselber thingy, can't wait. Also Christine in English. Oh hey Christine. I feel like I've had you in the chat before. Nice to see you. Yeah, are you talking about the pup date? I feel like I missed a trick there when I'm not using hashtag pup date in all of my comms about the pup pets DLC. Maybe I'll do that at some point in the future. We'll use that idea again. Yeah, I mean it's pretty exciting, isn't it? I mean this has all come. Everything feels like it's kind of happening at the same time at the moment, a little bit for me. Obviously, we're not getting the PZ. Oh, look at how that fuses together. That's interesting. That's so weird. That is really odd. How's it doing that? Can you? I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but see how that texture like blends together? That is that's nutty. Can you guys see that? So it's got a hard edge. I mean, obviously I'm pushing it into the other one, but it's got a hard edge, but it seems like it blends in. See that bit there and that bit there are different. I mean, I guess it's just a different. Interesting. I love that you can adjust the sizes similar to Paralives. Yeah. That's very true. I hadn't actually drawn that parallel, but yeah, you're right, Lisa. Paralives does this, doesn't it? Just looked at your whole House Flipper playlist and left some comments in there. Thank you very much. My first time joining you live. Cool. Well, we stream House Flipper streams every Wednesday. This is going to be pretty. This game, Prehistoric Kingdom, is going to be pretty busy on the channel for a little while. Just because it's new and I've got early access, but yeah, we'll be streaming House Flipper on Wednesday. It's nice to have a real mix of people. Actually, I was nervous about it for ages to have that kind of having multiple games. Oh crap! I didn't mean to do that. Having multiple games would hinder me because people look at your channel and so sometimes I think people. Well, I used to think people looked at my channel and went like, "Is this guy a House Flipper player, or is this guy a Planet Zoo player, or is he an Ark player, or what?" And they don't subscribe because they don't think you're like one of the other. And now I think mostly that was just nonsense, and I was talking out of my arse, but which I'm known to do. Magic. What's magic? Oh, the texture thing. That's magic. Love your content though. Thank you very much. That's appreciated. I think I'm out of coffee. Am I out of coffee? No, I've got a little bit of cold coffee left. Check out the Dino mug. I feel like it looks like a Yoshi egg. I think the other reason why JWE is nothing like PZ and PK is because Universal was involved and they wanted a game that is usable within console gaming and now Nintendo Switch. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think that was kind of what I was saying, is that it was more about the franchise and less about the actual gameplay. It was more like you were just interactively playing, you know, a movie and not anything else. I think a lot of YouTubers are multi-gamers now. Yeah, I mean, I do think there is a little bit of I do think to an extent I've done it again. Christ, I do think I was a little bit kind of pinned back by it. And that's one of the things that's really nice, seeing, you know, some of the regulars and some of the recognizable names in the chat, you know, crossing games and just being basically enjoying anything that I'm playing, which is really nice. That's really nice. And especially as, like, you know, the Twitch stuff is always going to be different. The Twitch stuff is always going to be more just sort of gameplay and goofing about, and the Yub Jubs is always going to be the more creative side of things, which I hadn't really settled on before. But right, so we've got a little messy bit here. We can tidy that away. We're going to tidy all this up with rocks. Oh, that's a tough name. Paleovenator, cannibalistic. Welcome. That's a tricky name. Maybe I'll just call you Paleo. Seems appropriate to the topic. Absolutely agree with Jurassic. does feel like Universal kind of tied Frontier's hand in a way. I mean, I guess it makes sense, though, right? Like for someone like Frontier, you get Universal, you're just gonna be set with that, aren't you? You're just gonna kind of want to just make it work, whatever. And maybe, and as I said, I don't know. Maybe loads of people absolutely love it. So I've no real opinion on it either way, but it just wasn't really it for me. But as you say, if they were making it, trying to make it fit to console as well, that was always going to be a challenge. We're so a big Planet Zoo fan, so we're looking into that content of yours too. This game is new to me though. It's new to me as well. It's new to me as well. So it's just come out this week. In fact, last night. Last night. I don't know what you guys think though. I mean, obviously it's difficult to tell because I'm playing it and you're just watching, but I don't feel like this is as hard a learning curve. Let's change that one. Looks a bit weird. To the Planet games, I feel like this is a much more kind of, as I said a few times, sort of organic. It just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel difficult. It just feels easy. I feel like I think it's difficult. I'm sort of not really explaining what I mean, but I think it's, you know, in some games, especially if you play stuff like Ark, if you're an Ark player like me, came from Ark. Ark is very much about, and it's there's an enjoyment in this, but finding the ways to work around the game. It's like the game is all about kind of the whole thing, the satisfying things of playing Ark are all about finding a way round the difficult bits that Ark gives you. And this feels like it, and to an extent Planet Zoo is a bit like that as well. You've just got to master the nuances of it. This just feels like it wants you to be able just to do whatever you want. Let's give that a squish then. Very own fan club. Let's get a few of these chunks. Oh, that's weird. I think that's my... Yeah, so there's a bunch of things that would definitely be useful to have as keybinds. So all of these things should be available as keybinds. Keep object rotation. No, that's not what I wanted. I want to select not all of those. That mount, duplicate it. That's it. I think it's now rotating in the right way. It's coming. It's coming along. It's gonna need some work, but yeah, House Flipper's that way too. Canny is fine. Okay, I'll try Canny and not Paleo. It reminds me of Planet Zoo. Yes, love games where you can really make all your own ideas. Yeah, totally. It's definitely that. What should we do here then? Should we? I mean, I guess we could just continue this deck. Crap, didn't mean to do that. Eek. The lack of undo at the moment is a pain as well. So it's down here, the buttons are down here, but they don't do anything. So as soon as you bugger something up, you're a bit screwed. You're like, oh no, I have to do it again. Okay, so that needs to turn off. That is the button I wanted. more into the building aspect of games and not really the gameplay per se. I like the creativity, and that's what brought me to your channel. Yeah, I'm the same, Frankie. Absolutely the same. I was saying this the other day, wasn't I, about The Sims? Is like the Tamagotchi bit of The Sims is not appealing to me in the slightest, but the making things look pretty. Although I'd have to say, I do still quite like a purely gameplay game. I'm enjoying the Twitch stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I guess for me, it's a bit like the gameplay side of things has to be. Maybe it needs to be all or nothing. Maybe that's what it is. It needs to be like really, really good gameplay. And not. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, it's going to sound awful to say it, but it is a bit like, I think I said this the other day. I think someone asked me, like, what dino am I looking forward to most? Like, they're awesome, but I'm more excited by the rock pieces. Sort of more important to me. Like, the dinos are just a means through which to be creative. They're not the be all and end all to me. But that's what's quite nice about it, is that it will work for all sorts of people. Welcome back, Weston. I love playing JoJo, but PZ spoiled me with the custom building. Now PK makes me feel like the jealous ex-boyfriend. Stalking every stream gameplay, wishing it was me playing PK. Well, on that note, I have got. I won't be giving it away today. We'll be giving it away when I have my. So at some point, so I've just hit, for the guys that sort of new in the chat here, I've just hit my 3,000 subscribers. I think like last week or something, which was really epic. And because this game has come out, my kind of celebration has gone on hold a little bit. But when I do catch up with that, I have got. Oh, hello. Where have we just gone? Oh, that's my first definite. I have got a beta key. I've got a spare beta key for this. So I had already bought the beta key for this before I got given an alpha key by the devs. So we will have a bit of a giveaway. I might get a house flipper key as well, some sort of house flipper key. And just have a couple of little giveaway things on that celebration. I can't tell you when that's going to be yet, but it'll be some point in the next couple of weeks. Tell you what, I haven't done for a while. Let's hit the save button. Have I even saved this at all? Oh, it has been auto saving. So let's call this like, I don't know, Dino Bay or something. Create new save. So yeah, best way to keep in touch with like when I'm doing stuff is to join the Discord. So !Discord in there in the chat. That actually save. There it is. Let's move that. I've got a lot of things all in the same group at the moment, but I'm not worried about it too much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if they've said about that. But yeah, not having it. You get so used to having it that it's like it's painful. I would love to see them do the right click thing as well. That right click when you're trying to move an object is kind of tricky. So this thing, when I'm trying to move, if I wanted to move the camera, I can't move it because I will deselect the object. So I can duplicate that along, I guess, if I want to. It just feels so flexible. I don't know, like, I don't know if that's really coming across. And I'm not being, I'm really not being in any way a sort of perfectionist about anything I'm doing here. It's all pretty rough. Why is that bit there different to that bit there? What am I missing? What is that? I don't actually see what that is, but we'll move it over. Oh, it's like a beam. My interest has peaked. I think you can move the camera while selecting an object group if you hold middle mouse button. Interesting. My middle mouse button isn't working at the moment. Hasn't been working for a few weeks. So that could be the case. Yeah, I can't even tell you because I can't test it. I had to rebind it for PZ. I do like that. I do like how that looks with the shallow rocks there. Probably got a whole load of mess down here, haven't we? But never mind. Okay, so let's get some foliage going. It's looking alright. It's looking alright. We need to fill this back up. I'm not really sure what I'm doing there. It's a shame you can't bring the build. I mean, maybe we'll just put a building in. Can I move you? I think I can move you. Yeah. Let's do that. I just saw a person. Hang on, wait. Oh, you. Ooh. There's a ghostly figure. There's a merged person. Oh. It's like Little Nightmares all over again. To get a screenshot of that, definitely. I think the lighting's good. Blah blah blah. Screenshot. I think I missed some stuff back there. I have all the sims that there is, and I only build. Yeah, I think that's most people. Well, a lot of people. The horror. It's the horror. The freaks. The freak show is waiting to come in. That's not what I want. Okay, right, so can we do some like dense, maybe we'll do bamboo. It'd be nice to make I think it was like 100 people, Dennis. If you haven't seen I can show you. Watch what happens. We'll let them have a little bit of extra space. If I place a path down. You watch them all. Too many horror games. Got invited to some Rocket League. It was nice to watch. Bye bye. Take it easy, Nadine. Thanks for stopping in. Have fun in the Rocket League. God, I haven't played that in absolutely ages. The crowds. They're coming for us. Stop. So it's a little bit more than 4. Several thousand all waiting there. Please. Mine. That guy's got his brain showing. Mate, you've got your brain showing. Your brain's hanging out. Put a hat on. Oh, that's a bit messy, isn't it? Oh, that's a bit. That's a little floaty plant there. Oh no. Oh god. What did I just do? Oh, I can't undo it either. So I will get another one. I can hear the teacups rustling in that cafe. It's kind of cool. I think I lost my mulch there, but never mind. It's like The Walking Dead, it is. They all just stay over there. I don't really want them in any further. We shall see. I'd be interested to see if they can get up here. I would like to make a little... Let's see if we can do this. I'd like to make a little kind of lattice. They're multiplying. They're multiplying! Kill them! They just keep coming. There's no way of closing the gate, and there's no way of limiting the number of guests, so I don't want them in yet until they're... because they'll be everywhere. Yeah, so I was going to make like a little... I want to try and make like a little trellis back there. See if we can do that. So what have we got? So we've got pillars, slats. That's basically the same. That's we've used for the decking. I'm interested to see if they can walk on this deck. We've got logs. Yeah, money's going up. That was part of the reason why I did it on the other build. They just blindly come in and just pour in their money. Obviously, this is all set. The devs have said it's all basically set, so that there's nothing difficult about this at the moment. And obviously, we don't have to do any research or anything to find the dinos. We've just got them. Okay, so let's do... I doesn't want to be too chunky. I've got a bit of mulch hanging out there. Need to fix. So if we do the same thing again... So that's a... Was that an 8? And that's a 4. That's an 8. That's a 4. That's a 2. Okay, so we want a... Probably want that. And we'll give that a little squeeze. And a little squeeze. And a little stretch. Yeah. And then we want slat. I would love to be able to align that perfectly to that, but I haven't got that option. So we'll do that. Move that to 45 degrees. Spinny this round. Like that, and then go see how much we can stretch that. Okay, that's not bad. Squeeze it in a little bit more, and then push it down to the floor. Right. Place that down, and then I'm going to put another one of these on the other side just so I've got a point to finish, but I'll be deleting that at some point soon. Right, and then we need to do... Is this all one group at the moment? No, it's multiple different groups. Don't really understand how I end up doing that all the time, but it doesn't really matter because we can move them all like that. So let's get this, and we'll move this up, and we'll squidge it right back down again to as small as it'll go. That's as small as it'll go. That's as thin as it'll go. So it is a plank, this. It's not really what I wanted. Can I use the... See how small I can make this guy. Squidge. So there's obviously, oh, that's better. So there's obviously a limit. They've set, I don't know if they've done this on an individual piece by piece amount, set like the upper and lower limits to what, how much you can squeeze and or is it, maybe it's always just the same. You can always condense it by like 50% and blow it up by 50% or something. But regardless, it always seems to do the job. I'm yet to kind of go, that's not enough. Right, so this is going to be the tricky bit. So if we give this a, I guess we could do it flat, but why do things simple when you can do things difficult? Let's make it flat first. Let's make it all on the flat, rotate it, and then squish all the pieces back in. I think that's a better way to do it. If that makes any sense. Yeah, it's like just this by itself is so cool. This one feature, for someone like me as well, obsessed about the stupidest little details, is so nice. Let's do that, I think. So we're gonna make it all flat and then spin it round. I think this will work. It's going to be a little bit tricky to get those spacing equal. So easy. So the one thing about these alphas, and in fact beta would likely be the same as well, is that there is always the possibility that anything you're doing at any point in the alpha could suddenly just get, you might just get a told that they're binning it, basically, that there's some update that's coming out that's having to get rid of it. I know. Can you imagine this in House Football? That's Paralives. If you haven't seen Paralives, Christine, I think I have one video on my channel that talks about Paralives. But Paralives is kind of this in House Flipper world. It's basically Sims but better. Being able to do this kind of stretching and adapting things. It's a game that's in development. It's probably a good couple of years away yet, though. Right, so if we now get all of that and Control V, where's my controls gone? Spin that round. It's definitely the thing that I find. Oh no, I didn't Control V. Place that down again. Select it all. So this will be easier once they give us groups, because I'll be able to save this as a group and won't have to keep clicking on it all like this. It's not perfect, this as well. I've not made it perfect. Yeah, you should definitely have a look at it. So Control V should be duplicating it. There we go. It's actually not too bad just as a square, is it? I actually don't mind it as squares. It's pretty big. It's all a bit massive proportionally. Yeah, that's like a 10-foot wall, isn't it? Okay. Can I not? I thought I could click and... I don't understand. Sometimes you can click and drag. and not always. I don't understand why that is. So you're going to see, again, we're going to see one of those amazing things about this whole ability to be able to stretch and shape and bend things. Because I've done all of that and I've realised it's all too big. It's all too tall. But I don't have to start again. Oh, this is definitely the fiddliest bit, is getting all the bits selected, but we know this will go away as a problem. Because I should be able to group everything together. So let's not bugger it up again. Get everything selected. Yeah, I don't understand. Sometimes you can click and drag to make them like a multi-select, but not always. Right, so I'm going to Control V that, move it over here, so I've got a second one. Yeah, I sort of didn't really know what I did wrong though. I think that's one of the things I haven't kind of got my head around yet, is how I ended up with multiple groups there, because I actually wanted them all to be off the same set, but it felt like just because maybe I unselected it, maybe I did. Maybe that's what I did. So we should just be able to do this now, right? Oh, we can even go that way as well. Wow. No, you can't merge groups. There's no option to merge groups. How is it doing that then? Interesting. Let's just look at what's happening here, right? So each individual one of those beams, we squished it as much as we could, right? I couldn't make them any smaller. That's the narrowest of those beams would go. So how come I can do that? Interesting. So in a group... Oh, this is so clever. This is so clever. So let's just go with the idea for a minute that it's a 50% plus or minus to any object. In a group, it thinks it's still going to be 50%. So effectively, a group just becomes an object, and you can scale it. So you can. That's nuts. Are they actually smaller though? Is that beam actually? That does look like it's slightly narrower, doesn't it? I mean, it has to be, because I'm squishing it. I'm stretching it. Yeah, it does seem to be whatever specific thing you've got selected. So does that mean if you wanted an even smaller beam... Huh. Does that mean if you wanted an even smaller beam, so the individual beam by itself... If I put it into a group, I could make it smaller than I could make it as a single beam. Strange. Looks like your mind is blown, Toves. My mind's been... I mean, I haven't slept very much for the last 24 hours, so everything's blowing my mind, but... Yeah. I mean, I've had 3 or 4 of those moments in this game already. Right, so we have now what we want. This is better proportionally, right? It's still pretty huge. I just want to have a look at it compared to one of you duders. To the hordes. Still pretty massive. Are you fascinated by that? You appear to be fascinated by it. Welcome to my park. Here we have a trellis. I mean, the possibilities are endless with this. Then look, I can keep on doing it. I can keep on doing it. How am I keeping on doing it? This is so different to what I started off with. I did not expect that. I've put 60 hours into this and I didn't know you could do that. You've put 60 hours in already. What? Good on you. Yeah. Mind blowing. I don't. So, how small can I make that? That is nuts, man. That is so tiny. That beam is now so tiny. Even my guests are amazed by it. Look, even the brain people, even the people with their brain hanging out, are still managed to be excited. Just by selecting the items after creating. Yeah, so if I. That's all I did. There was 3 groups. I put them together. I can now squeeze them even further. So I wonder if I could put them into another group and continue to compress it even more. Weirdness. I mean, it started to mat all the textures together, but it's still like that timber still looks pretty decent. It's got a timber texture to it. Yeah, I think so, J Rassi. I think you can just keep doing it. I mean, we'll test it in a second. That looks better proportionally now. So that's our piece. So we'll keep that one. Oh, I can't. This is the only thing. This is definitely the only thing from this situation. Is that now it's going to be even trickier to select all these buggers. Drifting into a solitude. Alright, Christine, take it easy. See you in a bit. What happens when you break that group, do you mean, Dennis? I can't break it into... I can't split it, if that's what you mean. I'm amazed that this is not just a big Z fighting mess. I haven't moved any of these. Don't forget, I haven't moved any of these off of center or done anything to move the alignment. They're all just overlapping. Okay, this is painful. So move. We want to move that. Please don't make me select it all again. And we want to put this up here. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm nervous that I'm going to lose this selection every time I can't rotate the camera. Maybe I can rotate the camera with the middle mouse button, but mine's not working. I don't know why I paused it. Well, I do know why I paused it, because I'm pressing my PZ controls. Okay, cool. Right, we're good. I think we're good. Don't want to squish it anymore. We need to duplicate this completely. Oh, is it just effing unselected it? Make a 50-meter long fence piece out of that. The piece count will just skyrocket. Yeah. I mean, I haven't yet come across any performance issues, so I'm not worried too much about piece count. That's it. There's my multi-select. So why can I... Hang on, what's happening there? So that one... How did I get that multi-select option? Paving the way for us beaters. I don't understand how I just got that. Did you see that multi-select thing? I didn't press anything. Is it because I was in a group? Ah, right. So inside an editing and modular group. Hang on, what? Oh wow, each one of these pieces is an individual piece. Squantoon, I've done some piece count testing and I don't think it matters like it does in PZ. How high did you get up to? How have I ended up with all of these on separate groups? Maybe save it and reload. You reckon? don't understand how I did that. So inside a modular group, you get a multi-select drag. I don't understand how I've made every single one of these into a separate group. This is why I'm having the problem, because I can only edit a single group at a time. I can't select multiple groups unless I go through this clickety process. I want an end piece. I want one piece that's not got a beam there. That's all I want. Hopefully I don't have to do it again. I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think it's a glitch. I think it's an intended feature. Inside, I mean, that's the same way that PZ works, right? Inside a group, you get a multi-select tool like that. Oh, actually, no, you do get a multi-select, don't you? You press I, you get a multi-select. You can select multiple groups. It doesn't massively matter, because I can't merge the groups anyway, because I'm still going to be in this process. I should just not have done it like this, but I'm not doing it again. I only need to get it like once. I've made it difficult because I've squished the pieces down so much. Don't know account, but I just put some down with some foliage and just copied and spammed the map. Yeah, I've done some of that as well. Not noticed any position. Not noticed any performance drop. What I have noticed, oh, please don't unselect. What I have noticed is a couple of low res textures on some things, and I wondered if that was because, oh no, I don't want that. I wondered if that was because my performance was getting taxed, and so it was down resing textures. I've only noticed it on the lilies, so it might just been that the lilies are low res anyway. I'm gonna double up the beams just so it doesn't Z-fight. Aha! We're in business. Okay, we've got this. We've got this. We've done it. Hey Robin! Welcome, welcome. I wonder if the drag is only per group, kind of like PZ, but PK doesn't allow drag select for multiple groups. Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think that's exactly what it is. Oh. Don't want to stretch. Definitely needs to be a hotkey for those modes. I'm doing this really slowly because I'm really nervous I'm going to deselect the damn thing again, which I probably will end up doing. This game is almost the same as the Animal Planet. Is it? I'm sorry, but I'm literally laughing my ass off right now every time you select that last piece and it deselects everything. Sorry, not sorry. Don't worry about that. I mean, that's normal for my channel. And if anyone who watches my streams regularly, you will know. That sort of thing happens all the time. I've deselected it all again. How did I end up deselecting it there? It's the click game. In fact, let's not do it for a second because I'm getting tired of it. Oh, I did feel a... What was that? Was that an autosave? Or was that a performance issue? I mean, I guess the guests are going to be a problem as well now, aren't they? Frankie's laughing. Yeah. That's frustrating as heck. It's a shame it doesn't... there's obviously no way of sorting that out, but that's alright. Let's fix that bit of mulch up. Yeah, I was worried. I think a bunch of people have reported, because look at the like overspawning of those guys. If anything's going to be affecting performance, it's going to be that. I'm sure that's just an easy thing to sort out, to be honest. They mentioned the other day on the stream that they were a pretty last minute addition. The guests. Oh, it doesn't look great, does it? It's definitely getting a bit pixely. I feel like we've made something that we shouldn't have been able to make. I feel like we should not have done this. I mean, it looks pretty good close up, but at distance it's getting a bit fuzzy, isn't it? I'm going to add some more layers to it now as well, because I want to put some bushes on it. Maybe a bit of scaviola. What have I got selected at the moment? We could go with this. Why is it not aligning that? Oh, there we go. Align to surface. Cover it all up now, you watch. I guess we could go ivy. That'd be the obvious thing to go with. It's not all that exciting, the ivy though, is it? It's a bit meh. I feel like when you're selecting multiple items in this close together, it is a lot easier than in PZ. Yeah, I think time will tell with that. Oh, I see what you mean. As in, yes, I think you're right. You get that thing in PZ, don't you? When you've like, you're 100% right. Everything seems to be clickable. You get that thing in PZ where you're like clicking that bit, and it's actually selecting this one over here. You're right. It does seem a lot. It does seem a lot easier just to click the individual pieces in this. Interesting. Because that's one of the things that you take for granted about the undo tool in PZ. Half the time I feel like I'm using the undo tool just to get rid of something so that I can select something else and then undoing back to where I was. That, and that. Control V. Control V. Oh, I think I must have right clicked at some point. I think that's what I'm doing. And when I'm right clicking, I'm deselecting everything and losing it all. Yes. Welcome to the stream. Come along to Taves' stream. We spend 2 hours making a trellis. I mean, I guess what I'm learning really is just the principles here, though. I'm maybe making a trellis, but I'm kind of getting a useful understanding of some things. So we definitely learned something there. So we should probably test that. Now I've finished my trellis. Thank Christ! There's an autosave which kind of tanks the performance for a second. Yeah, was that what it was, you think? Probably doesn't help when I'm looking that direction towards all the guests as well. Playing Farm Together net game. 10 weeks is 202 gameplay hours. Nice. I was selecting a bush inside a rock earlier and was shocked when I did not have to delete the rock first. Yeah, I know. I know that feeling. That's weird, isn't it, that that's the thing? I wonder why that's the thing in the PZ and not massively an issue in this. Can't seem to move that for some reason. Why is that? Let's move it away. That's it. Welcome back. Should we try and shrink it even more? Should we try and see what we can? Maybe we'll break the game, but we shall see. So I can make things that look like climbers out of these, can't I? Just by squishing it all down. Can we make like a? Can we make a flower for it? Do we think? Some flowers to go on it. So I'm not really paying any attention to the group, how the groups behave, which is definitely the next thing to suss out in this. Right, so that is modular group 220. So how do I add an object to that group? How do I add a second object into that group? If I control V and I move that. Oh, I didn't mean to click on the square. I didn't actually realise the square did a free move. Oh, what's going on there? Hold on, so let's... Oh, I keep optimistically pressing Control Control Z, like it's going to do something. Honey, I shrink the trellis. Make a teeny tiny trellis. I mean, that's a useful thing, though. That, as an object, is a useful thing because I can make a pergola, I can make all sorts of stuff with that. Right, I just want to check. So this is modular group 220. That's modular group 220. That's modular group 220. But these are all individual. I'm baffled as to how I made that in the first place then. Right, so let's grab this. Do we need... We don't need to do it with 1,000,000 pieces. Let's just do it with like 2 pieces, just as a test then. So, what have I got in this? I've got no structural pieces. Sorry, no like building pieces. It's all structural pieces. So let's get... We'll keep this nice and big so we can click it easily. We'll make it nice and big. Okay. Right, and then okay, so this is what I've buggered up, right? So this is where I've smurfed it up. I'm in the group right now. 1241. If I click a new piece, I'm adding that to 1241. What I've been doing, I think, is right clicking a new piece, and now I'm adding that as a separate group, right? 4430 2231 was the previous group. 1241. So that's what I buggered up. We have to recreate it exactly like that though. I don't know, you're the alpha, you tell us. Hey Zekin, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. Hope you're loving this. How are my eyes looking? Are they red and bleary? I don't think they're too bad. 9:30. I don't feel too bad. How long have I been streaming? 2 hours and 38 minutes. So we've just discovered a thing, Zekin. We're trying to recreate, because I made this little trellis and I've made it beyond the limit of what I should have been able to resize to. Right, so let's just prove this point again. Testing purposes for science. So, scaling this, I can only scale it. In fact, that one gets pretty tiny. Is that the one? Is that the tiniest piece? Hang on. Is that what we used? We used a wooden pillar and the wooden slat, didn't we? That's a pillar piece. That's a slat. I think. Is there any way for me to know? There's no way for me to know. I can't. It doesn't tell me what my object is. Does it? Doesn't tell me. Trying to recreate this, I'm going nuts. So let's see. Right, so we establishing that is the smallest that piece, and that is the modern wood pillar goes to. I feel like that's already as small as we've got it in the other bit, but we'll see. And I have to I'm going to try and do exactly what I did. Deselecting to get a separate group. Putting this one on it. Feels like it's already smaller though. We'll just do it with these two bits. That one's actually bigger, so we'll leave that bigger. Right, let's leave that bigger then. I bet it has something to do with the scaling. After it is scaled, it creates a new group. Did I use the slat? I couldn't remember if I actually used the slat at the end. So it's like that. That seems even tinier though. That seems tinier than that. Look how thin that is. Yeah, that's what we're sort of I think we're sort of establishing. So these are separate groups. They're both as small as they can get. And when I'm doing this, I'm taking it, let's move that into a separate one. Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts. What? So where does it end? This is crazy. Where does it end? Will it ever end? Say yes to that. Get another one. Get another one. No, don't make it bigger. Just get another one. Move it over here. Go back to scaling. It never ends! Oh. It doesn't matter. We've proved it, Jurassic. It doesn't matter whether it was different pieces or not. They're scaling beyond their limit, aren't they? I mean, these pieces are tiny now. So scale it again. Move it. Scale it. This is crazy. I don't... Does this ever... Where's the person? Let's go back to the mob. Look how small that is. I can literally do a lobotomy on one of the brains, can't I? Here, we must have your brain. I think I could go even smaller. Do we think this is supposed to be like this? I think this isn't supposed to be like this. Shh, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. It gets even smaller. We're like quantum. It's like quantum. What? We're like we're splitting the we're splitting the atom right now. This is not, surely this isn't supposed to be like this. I mean, if it is, this is epic. I mean, I want to keep this. There doesn't seem to be a limit, Dennis. I mean, it's just going to disappear, isn't it? Oh, maybe that's the no, we're still going. that's like barely even visible now. I don't think this is going to stay. Got yourself a video topic. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe I'm making this video tonight. Oh, I might have even. That is crazy. There's no way that's supposed to be doing that. You can barely see them. You can barely see them, Jurassic. Hold on, let me put a building piece behind them so you can see them. I've just moved over here so we can see them compared to the guests. Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like it probably will. I might bring the whole server down or something if I keep going. So, yeah. So every time, so let's say every object is scalable by 50%. Every group is considered to be a new object. So you group them together. When you duplicate that, you then get the 50% back again. And so you can keep going smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So we went from that was the original size to, yeah, like frontal lobotomy tools, basically. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't even know if I can select it now. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure they won't. I mean, maybe that's intended. Maybe that's intended. I mean, I can think of loads of uses for that. But whether it stays in or not, at least you can make pencils to sell at the gift shop. Yeah. You could dino on a stick. Poke yourself a dino. It's a big poking device. I don't think I could even click that now. That other one's gone. I can't click it. Can I? So does it have to be that I was it just the way I did it there? Let's test that. So if you remember, I had two separate groups. I was moving a kind of combined group. Let's test that. Sod the doing the trellis. I'll just do this. So I don't remember what I did now. They were modular build pieces. They're props. They're structural elements. So one of them. So we'll keep this in the group this time. 0069. We'll use the slat. It doesn't really matter what orientation or anything this is in. The zombie horde is amassing, yeah. So we can squish this down. I mean, I've only really got to do it once, haven't I? Proved it. Like that's already that much of a squish. Move that. So that was my duplicate. Now, I don't feel like this is supposed to be like this. It just seems like it is never ending. I can just keep doing it forever until it goes to invisible. There you go. So yeah, it wasn't to do with the groups at all. It wasn't to do with the. It wasn't to do with it being separate groups or anything, because it's working on a group there. So that's actually all one group. But that's actually all one group. That's insane. Anyway. Do it with a tree, make saplings. Yeah. Should we try it with a tree? Would it work with a tree? I guess it will work with a tree. Let me try it with a flower, because I'm trying to make a flower, aren't I? Guess I can make that. So, hang on. Is it got anything to do with the second? Is it got anything to do with the second piece? Can I do it in one piece? So condense this down. I don't think it actually matters what you've got. You don't need to have two pieces at all. Condense this down to nothingness. That seemed like more than 50%. Duplicate that. No, yeah, so it doesn't work on a single piece. It doesn't work on a single piece. Interesting. So will it work on a second piece? 5598 now. So 5598, duplicate that. Yeah, so there's got to be a second piece basically. It won't work on an individual one. Little tiny flowers. That's kind of cool. Scale up. Oh, good shout, Zekin. Shall we make a freaking massive tree? Monster tree. Let's make a beanstalk. Let's make a beanstalk to see the giant. Right, so one of those. Get a second one. No. Just get a second one, Tobes. Get a second one. Right, and now both of them need to be scaled up as much as I can get them. Oh, these seem like they go pretty massive anyway. Okay, that's fine. Wow, that seems like more than 50%, doesn't it? Some things seem like they go way bigger. That's the limit of that one. So let's actually just copy that one and not bother with the second one. That little diddler we don't need. We don't need the little diddler. Get that. No. Get that one. Yes. It works. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to patch this. we'll see if we can get it done anyway. Maybe I'll put a video out on it tomorrow. Okay, so I need to duplicate that. Let's go this way, sod it. This is crazy, isn't it? Whoa! Oh my god! Oh dear. Simple things. The monster trees. Maybe this is what trees looked like when dinosaurs were around. Whoa! Whoa! I can't even see up there. I can't even go up there. Get big tree. Go again. If you want to scale on all axes, just click on the white box in the center. Oh, handy. I didn't realize that. I was asking that earlier. So copy first. You don't realize I've got no undos. Have I saved it? I can't remember if I've saved it. I think I saved it with the trellis, didn't I? I had the trellis. I saved it. I think I've been doing all this shenaniganery since then. I cannot... Whoa! Oh dear. We'll get a screenshot and post it in the Discord. Oh my god, I'm blotting out the sun. Ba, 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 ba. Oh dear. Oh, that's not even the tree. We've got to keep going. Is that the which one? Oh, it's these. I don't even know if I can. Can I even click these now? Oh, I don't think I can click them. Oh no, I can. Oh, I had them then for a second. Oh, I don't think I can click them. No, I can. I can't click those ones because they're outside the boundaries of the park now, I think. Mega tree. Oh well, we've done it anyway. I feel like they could probably go bigger. Trace box. Trees. Yeah. Actually, we can go bigger. I don't need to select the outer ones. I can select the inner ones. I can still do it from there, can't I? Duplicate. Move, edit. Doesn't need to be moved that far. Can go that far. Whoa. Oh, we're breaking the game, guys. Definitely breaking the game. Just one more. Just one more. Oh, I don't need to do that, do I? So select the middle. No, we don't want to go small. We want to go big. Okay. I think we may be done. We may be done. Oh no. So yeah, you can do it. So you can go as big as the world. Well, I can presumably could just keep going on bigger as well. I've got no idea where we are now. It does auto save, yeah, but I've got a save. It's that one. So there we go. I didn't get a screenshot. Never mind. I've got the footage. There we go, and there we go. Exciting times. Science was done. Science was done. We won't load the rest of my game now. That will just be like, no. I mean, that can't be intended, right? Hey, Mrs. T, we broke the game. It's the Tape's Jurassic theory. Proven. We reckon we just discovered how the dinosaurs were extinct, made extinct. Oh gold. It's not loading my. Maybe it's my trellis. Trellis, it won't load. Oh no. We've just worked out how to make infinitesimally small pieces in the game and world size pieces. I think my games might be buggered. Might have to do a crash back to the. So I said at the beginning of the stream, I hadn't had a crash. I feel like I probably built this on myself, but this is what alpha testing is right. You're supposed to, if you're not crashing the game, you're not really doing your job. You shouldn't have an alpha key if you can't break the game. There we go. Science got did. That's alright, it's loaded up again. Oh, why did I press that? Oh, gold. I pressed back into the cam. Yeah, why is your game laggy? Is it because you've done what I've done? Don't worry, guys. This is not the thing. Destroyed the game. Did the game destroy the Toves? My trellis isn't here. Oh no. I didn't save it, did I? I feel like we bought this on ourselves, guys. I feel like we bought this on ourselves. And I've got a bit missing. Have I got a bit missing there? That's all right. I'm not doing any more trellising. Right, so we have worked out we could do really, really nice little tiny flowers. Oh dear. Coming along. Right, let's put some trees and stuff back here. I'm going to need to go for a wee in a second. Busting. Did some testing, but I think the guests, they are everywhere. Yeah, so if you... So when you restart the game, they don't go back to the gate? Because mine always appear back at the gate every time I restart it. Let's create a building, I think. I want to do a few trees and stuff back there just to fill it out a bit. I do like this brush tool. It's super clever. Do we want those? I guess. Density. I just want to put some stuff back there. I need to do some terrain painting as well because everything's just grass at the moment. Yeah, it's looking alright. I'm still kind of working out how to do everything, but it's looking alright. Could have been ready by now. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. So if you restart, they all go back to the gate. They all respawn back at the gate, and it seems to be that there's always an overspawn. So I've not been putting them in the park at all. Just leave them at the gate. I think once they've pathed somewhere, they'll learn to path that. They know how to path that way up until every time the game restarts. So you can't delete. So if I delete this, for example, they'll still make that they'll still just wander around there because they have found their way without a path. That becomes traversable for them. It's not like PZ, they don't just disappear. But I've seen a few people with like guests just randomly wandering around in the woods and things. So I don't know, maybe you're in that position as well. Let's just restart. The autosave was the massive trees, I'm pretty sure. I'll check it though. It's nice how quick it loads as well. I'll be interested to see how. Oh, he said that. I've broken it again, haven't I? Crap. Alright, it might be time for a loo break, guys. I think it is going to be time for a loo break. Because I'm a busting. It doesn't seem to like me. So let's do that for a second. That's alright, no worries. Yeah, I think they just constantly seem to increase the numbers, so I'm kind of tempted not even to let them in at all. Oh, it's finding its way again, I think. It has. Right, I'm going to just quickly go to the loo, guys. I'll be back in a minute. I'll leave you up here. Back in a sec. Right. Okay, so let's do... I kind of wanted to... Oh, I'm going to do that little bit of foliage. I'm not going to bother doing the trellis again immediately. I can do that offline. Maybe I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm streaming again same time tomorrow, guys, so... and probably some next week as well. I do like the colour of the water, I have to say. It's really nice, isn't it? Nice and green looking. Oh, what just happened there? I feel like I've angered the PK gods. Doesn't like me anymore. It doesn't like me. Game? What are you even doing? I find if they don't come in the gate, they hide behind the gate. Yeah, we looked at them earlier. They're like in the just hanging out in the gate, aren't they? This is getting crashy all of a sudden. This is getting all a bit crashy all of a sudden. Okay, let's go back to that for a sec. It's my own fault. I don't know what I was doing there. Why that crashed? I pressed the... Yeah, maybe it didn't like that. I pressed to record. I should have been recording earlier, but I didn't. Autosave. We can check the autosave. I think the autosave's going to have the big trees though. Pretty sure it's going to have the big trees, but maybe it won't. Maybe it'll have the trellis. If it has the trellis, it'll be handy. In fact, maybe the big trees were all on the same group, so I could just delete them in one press anyway. We're not seeing any big trees. Yes, Dennis. Well done. So that's interesting. We didn't do that. Why has that happened? I didn't delete those pieces, so why has that happened? Strange. So those are pieces that I... oh, interesting. I'm going to add them overlapping. Pieces were overlapping there. Doesn't really matter. It's an easy fix, but... This is all messy anyway. It shouldn't be doing it like this, but never mind. I'm just working out how it works. Oh, sorry. You are still on big toes. Derp. Game. There we go. Apologies. Yeah, I've got some like holes in the deck. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. At least I wasn't muted. At least you could hear what I was saying. That's usually my trick. Pick some of this sea fighting up. Yeah. I'd probably do this deck again because it's not very tidy. So we got the trellis back. Yeah, there's something weird going on, isn't there? Look. There's pieces missing from there as well. Yeah. Strange. Maybe it's like a programmed in punishment system for you breaking it. It's like, you break my game, I break your deck. I said deck. That'll do. That'll do. Okay, so let's put those trees back in over there. Would quite like to just get something that looks a bit nicer. So let's just do that, I think. And a bit of bush. I wonder if they'll ever do it so that you can combine different foliage types or different like biomes into these. That would be kind of cool. Probably not. Okay, so let's do a bit of terrain painting. So this is like tropical, isn't it? So I guess we do a bit of this. Substrate, rock, sand. Let's do that. And that one. Yeah, just a little bit of something just to break up the... That definitely makes a difference, isn't it? Just a little bit of texture in there. So that one's rock. Okay, well, some of that in there as well then. I have indeed misunderstood that. Don't even remember what I said now. So you can actually, am I painting under the terrain? Oh, you can. Interesting. Under the water, I mean. I do like the water. So good. Right, so I was going to put in... I was going to try and build a little building here, like a custom building. I don't know what of, but we'll see what we can do. Do something. We'll start this now. I probably... Something about a deck, yeah. I don't know why it's we'll show that, but for some reason you got auto moderated. I guess it's the way you've said it's the way you said deck. It's nothing to do with me. It would have been way better to use these pieces. I'll probably replace this deck with these pieces because the building pieces would be better to use, I think, anyway. So floor. A little bit more plain though, aren't they? That's quite nice though. Yeah, we'll leave it as it is for now. Anyway, right, let's do a little bit of a building. So I guess let's see what we've got here. See if we can make a building in the theme of this. Like similar to that. Okay, right. So let's try, yeah, let's try and match this theme. That might be kind of cool. So let's get one of them. And right, so what I need to just work out here for a second, just testing something. So if I control D on this, it will stay on the grid as long as I've got that selected. Let me just check though. So if I then distort this as well. So I've moved it off of the grid there and I'm distorting it. Does it stay as a gridded piece? It does. Interesting. And actually, so if I move it again. Oh, interesting. Even more interesting. So it's on its own. Huh. Now it's on its own, like, custom grid. Oh, there's so many potentials with this for this game. Like, constantly I'm like, oh, so that means, I don't know what it means, but it means things. It means we can do things. Stuff and things can be done at some point in the future lands. Okay, right, so I'm keeping the scaling here, so I need to switch that off. It doesn't switch the piece back until you select it again. So hold on. Did I actually... I don't think I changed the shape of that though. So let's keep the scale on for a second. No, I didn't. Yeah. This is definitely one of the trickiest things, is to like align stuff perfectly with an item, like, because I can't. Whereas in Planet Zoo you could duplicate and switch an item and have it stay in the same place. You can't in this. It goes back to free place. Let's just double check that. So if I do Control V and select a new item, no, it's just free placeable. Okay. So I just want to try and recreate that panel back there just by eye and see if I can do it. Things. Things. Okay, so that thing with the square is useful. Although that square is pretty tiny, isn't it? So proportional resizing is done by using the square. Got it. That's good to know. Once you've got a piece aligned, it's easy enough to do it. Autosave. And what I'm interested to see is, can I select a grid piece, resize that without resizing the other bits? I can. Sweet. Cool. I'd say that's pretty close enough. Oh, is this all separate groups again? 3286. It shouldn't be. That's not. Cool. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty close enough. Space is a bit different, but it won't matter. It will look the same. Right. So what's this guy? Interesting. We might be able to make something that looks vaguely like that. Let's get another builded piece on the same grid. This is confusing. Once you move off of the grid, if you move something that's a grid item, it's kind of confusing. It's kind of confusing. My brain can't really get its head around that. So I'm better off. See, it doesn't know where to snap that because I've moved it. As soon as you move it, you kind of lose the grid anyway. Better off just getting the bit, copying it, moving it. No, getting the bit, copying it. Maybe we'll try just literally recreating, yeah, just this side for a minute. Okay, right, so let's swap that out. And the cove pieces, these pieces. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll see how close we can get to that. I'm not sure we've got all the textures here. I'm not sure we have. Because we can't recolour. We can't make dark. We can't recolour things. That's one of the... You've got these sets, but you can't change the colour on them. I feel like they've been talking about something that you can recolour. So that would be glass. That would be... So that is kind of that. Texture wise, that's like a stucco, isn't it? Like a concrete. Looks like they use steel pieces. Yeah, for this I think they have, yeah. But we've got this bit down here, that's what I'm looking at the moment. So let's go squish you down. Did we need to do that, or could we have used... We could have just used a small one, couldn't we? And then squish that down. And it's got like a little metal trim there, or a trim at the bottom of it. So, like that. Maybe. So we now know that we can get it. I mean, we know now we can get anything as small as we want, ever. I feel that's actually going to be small enough anyway. Yeah, it's way more than 50%. It's way more than a 50% shrink. It seems to be much more than that. No. I find it really difficult to do a 90. I don't know why. 45 seems to be alright, but 90 is always tricky. Okay, so push that up there and in there. And it's a bit thicker than that as well. And it's a bit short of that. Cool. And is there one of those at the top? Yeah. This game is cool, definitely. Definitely agree with you. I feel like I'm getting more confident with it as each kind of play session goes by as well. Okay, so that we can put that there, and then each one of these sections is framed off as well. Oh. Scrotums, there we go. Yeah, the same thing that PZ has sometimes. Sometimes the little gizmo thing just gets in your way. You can't see what you're actually doing. I want to be able to see down there whether I'm lining it up. I can't. The thing's in the way. I guess I kind of know that it's good because of that. Oh, yeah, it's not long enough. Yeah, it does take I mean, anything takes a lot of getting used to. Planet Zoo took a lot of getting used to when I started that, so it's quite nice to Sometimes quite nice to see that process though, I think. Quite nice to see that the sort of initial struggle with something. Because when you... I feel like I just duplicated that. I did duplicate it. Did I do it? Oh, I keep forgetting that I don't have a Control Z. What's the saying? Yeah, it's quite nice to see if you kind of ever feel like you're struggling with the game. I do this quite a lot, but you know, I have a day where I'm like, oh god, can't make anything, and then I'll look back at what I made kind of 6 months before and just see how much better I've got. I've got it. I still have my days, and I will definitely, next time I go back to PZ, which I think I'm probably got to do some stuff on it tomorrow, I'm going to be pressing all the wrong keys. I know I will, because I've started to tune my brain into this. That's the advantage of being able to do your own keybinds, is that you can make them the same and you don't have to worry about it. Because apart from the fact that there's the scaling in this, none of the keybinds are any different. There's no reason for a keybind that's different in this game. That sticks out too much, doesn't it? Okay. You don't have more than 60 hours. Oh, you're definitely new then. Yeah, well, you'll get there. That's it's the getting to that kind of getting over that hump of the initial, the big things that you'll kind of learn. I think the first thing is just how to be a bit quicker at stuff, and that is usually about the shortcuts. And then it's about how to sort of be more efficient at building. In fact, the advantage of having played PZ is definitely that I'm thinking about how I'm building this based on how I know the efficient way to do it in PZ. It's to think about the reusable pieces basically. So I know I could build that twice, but I know that that's basically going to be the same. It's going to be the same on the other side. So just to build myself a little building set of those. Enable construction grid. So that should be on the grid again. Well, I don't understand why that doesn't work, but I don't understand. No. It doesn't. It seems like Control D takes you off of the grid for some reason. No matter. So we'll do Control V. Just put that over there for a minute because we might have to go back to it. Right. So I'm reckoning that panel was probably about the same size as that. It looks about proportionally the same size. So we can use this one. Duplicate that. And there is a double beam. So each panel has got a beam trim. Well, this doesn't, but that's okay. So this is going to be my metal bit. So we'll get rid of that, and that, and that. And this, I don't think we're going to have anything that's vaguely even close to this. So we will in fact get rid of it. It's hard for me to switch from Sims to House Flipper sometimes. That too. Yeah, I have the same thing with Planet Zoo and House Flipper. It's just muscle memory, isn't it? It's muscle memory. You're not thinking. For me, it's the thing that's like, if there's some function that's like in both games, even though they're really different games, your muscle memory just goes to that. And this is really hard for it because they're basically doing Control X in Planet Zoo and Control V in this game do exactly the same thing. and they're right next to each other on the keyboard. So my finger is always hitting Control X because my muscle memory is telling me that's what you do. I'm not thinking about it. I'm doing it automatically, but it'd be interesting to see if I can get both of them into muscle memory, or that both being useless at both of them, being much more slow in both of them. Right, so how are we going to make this metal then? What can we use to make that like dark colour? I'm not thinking in general. Yeah, that's a good first step. Let's engage your brain. Oh, what's this? That could work. I don't think there's anything else that's black. This could work. I mean, I'm not going to be able to get it exactly to match that because that texture's... the shapes and everything there are difficult. It's not that dark, is it, that? You definitely can't recolour these or anything, can you? There's no recolouring option in anything. Let's have a look at the back of this door, see what it's got in store for us. Nothing. Bugger all. It's exactly the same. Okay. The window. The window is our best bet then. So, stretch you. God, sometimes things definitely seem to have their own resize rules. Okay. It's over here on the left hand side of the screen. This. F2. Is that what you mean? Okay, so how are we going to get the little metal? So that's like a nice grey. I guess we could use these again. I feel like I've left the group now, haven't I? 18861. I've got multiple groups going on again. Yeah, it's this button over here, Mrs. T. Oh. Okay, let's try. I'll stay in this group. I need to remember to do this because it's even more important in this game than it is in Planet Zoo. Stay inside the group. I wonder if we can like mess these up and use these. What? Oh, we can. Look at that. That's quite nice. So we can use varying thicknesses of this pushed into that. As I say, it's not going to be exact, but it's going to be all right. We'll just make some weird pattern, which is all that is. With some stuff and things of different thickness. Oh no! Oh no! Why will you not rotate nicely for me? There you go. I don't want it bigger. Yes, that's what we wanted. I think the other thing with these games as well is kind of knowing what you can hide. Like, obviously, it's, the choices of pieces that I'm using here are pretty stupid, but like they don't matter because I'm not going to have an in tied to it, or I can hide this ugliness away somehow. I need to toggle that back on and rotate. Struggle with this rotate tool, I really do. There we go. Drifting into sunshine. I don't really know. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just goobering about now. It's 45, it should work. It's difficult to control to see what you're moving. Yeah, it's a bit fiddly, but it's not too bad. As the guys were saying earlier, it's a lot easier to select what you want in this game and not select randomly something else. Hey Micah, how you doing, buddy? Just making random shapes, but never mind. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Will you let me do that? This, yeah, it is global rotate. It just resets the axis of rotation-ish. It doesn't actually seem like it works too bad in this game as well. I feel like most of the time in PZ it's never doing anything. Made your first 4 videos. Nice work. Yep, they've gone well, dude. First one's always the hardest. And I would say just keep doing them. Don't worry about people watching them yet. Because what you'll find is that people will find them eventually at some point if you get... Oh, we've got a handle sticking out there. It doesn't really matter. I had someone comment on one of my really first videos today. He was like, just found me on this video. It's like, and commented me saying something about my control on my camera. And I was like, yeah, no, it's pretty terrible. It's like 3 years old, this video. It's the rotation tool is definitely tricky. But yeah, actually, funnily enough, a couple of my most popular videos are videos that when I made them did nothing, really nothing. I think my very first video has now got over 1,000 views on it, which was pretty embarrassing because it's bloody awful. Actually, what I was making was pretty alright. Like my base that I made in Ark was pretty alright. I'm still quite happy with it, but the video was terrible. You make music tracks, nice. This is quite fun. It's probably boring as hell to watch, but it's quite fun for me. It's like sculptural. I feel like I'm doing a random thing. I found you on your first Hasper video from 2018. Yikes. Yeah, the thing is I've had periods when I've made, so I've been pretty solidly making videos for the last, well, since the beginning of 2020. And before that had quite a gap of not making any, or really sporadically making videos. I don't know. I don't know if I can be bothered to do too much more of this. What is your favourite colour? I'm pressing controls. You don't have a control Z to press those. Stop hammering the key when there isn't one to press. I used to say red. Probably red. Like if it was picking a piece on a game, I'd always pick a red piece. But if it was like decorating wise, I don't know, quite like blues, purples, dark colours probably. Black like my soul. What's that? It's a window. Anyway, right, let's move on because that's getting boring as hell. So let's get this doodler. Good thing I just saw the first one of a couple of weeks ago. Could watch the whole playlist as well. Nice work. There's a lot of videos now. I've actually got too many videos. I've got more playlists than I can put on my home screen. So I think a lot of people probably wouldn't realise that there's loads of other playlists in the playlist bit of my YouTube. It's one of those things though as well. It's having I think a lot of people kind of don't really a lot of people don't really pay that much attention to the fact that you kind of got to have a bit of a catalogue, I think, on YouTube. Like if you think about it logically, someone's going to watch a video. For them to subscribe, you've got to have more than just that video. Just that one video by itself doesn't necessarily do it. So I'm quite lucky because I've been not really doing it very consistently, but I've got quite a big catalogue of videos and quite a lot of, yeah, 113. I think it's like, I don't know how many it's, I think it's like 60 on the House Flipper list, and there's something like 50 ARC videos that I don't even show anymore. And there's loads of others like Let's Plays and stuff like that. Frostpunk and those sorts of things, which I don't really feel fit my channel very much anymore. Okay, so how are we going to do that roundy bit? We've got to do this top bit as well. I wonder if I can make... I guess I could probably try and make that. 112. You lied. That's lots. I think Crackers has got something like 200 and something. I haven't made any... I'm definitely out of the habit of making regular House Flipper videos. And I don't really imagine I'll ever get back to that, to be honest. However much I enjoy the game, it's a lot more fun streaming it than it is solo making the videos. Thanks, Micah. Appreciate it. I think it's because I'm glacially slow. It's because I'm slow as hell. Like the movement of a glacier. Oh, is that? Can I just put that on top? Yeah. So this is definitely the challenge with. I do like that sound. I don't even know if you guys can hear that. It's a bit of ASMR for you right there. I kind of used to search House Flipper on YouTube and watch what came out. Then I got like, oh, it's that guy again, before I eventually subscribed. This guy won't go away, man. Oh, have I crashed? No, I'm saving. Oh, have I crashed? Please, game. You have about 42 playlists too. Oh, I feel like I might have crashed. 42 playlists? Do I have 42 playlists? Sometimes that is where it's the same thing just grouped in different ways though. Yeah, you could make your own music with that, couldn't you? That little click 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 click. So it'll be something like so for example, there'll be a House Flipper stream, a regular House Flipper stream would be tagged as House Flipper full collection, House Flipper stream archive, and then House Flipper whatever particular house I'm doing, and that will be the same. So that doesn't necessarily mean they're different. Oh, I feel like I've crashed. You found Crackers first. I found Crackers first. Well, I knew Crackers from ARC. I feel like I've crashed, guys. I'm not sure this is going to save, annoyingly. I should be pressing save more often. Oh, do we press wait for the program to respond? I guess we do. I think I'm going to probably have to call it a night there, guys. We're coming up to the 4-hour mark anyway, and I'm back tomorrow, so same bad time, same bad place. It looks like my game's crashing, so I may well be losing some progress here. Very annoying. Yeah, I might just I might just have to crash out the game, annoyingly. Having said we weren't getting any crashes, I'm now getting some crashes. I guess I hadn't really been building before, so it does look like a crash, doesn't it? Well, last time, hang on, let's just try this again. Last time this happened, I know you're on my screen and not on the game screen. When I went to crash it out, it suddenly recovered. It was like, no, actually I'm fine. No. But I think it's definitely crashed this time. Anyway, peeps, right, that's going to be it. Yeah, it's 11:15. I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, and I went to bed at... No, in fact, I went to bed at 4. I got up at 7. So it's time for my bed. Thank you very much for watching, peeps. Very much appreciate everybody stopping in. Thanks for the new peeps. And yeah, so back same time tomorrow, starting at 7 UK time. And we'll carry on doing some building and stuff. And there'll be probably another video tomorrow before that. If you haven't checked out the videos already, I'd really appreciate if you could give them some love as well. And if you're watching this after the fact, thank you for watching as well. After the factors, I shall catch you guys on the next one. I don't think that's going to be working. Oh, it is working. So we'll go up there for a minute. No, we won't bother. We'll just say goodbye. Take it easy, peeps. Catch you on the next one.